It's a good day, a good, fine evening, maybe even a great morning for you VOD watchers out there as we have another installment of our ETF2L season, another grand final, and another cast by me truly and Beta as well. Beta, welcome into the channel. Another grand finals, my guy.
Yeah. And it's going to be a really close one this time around, I feel like. I've been looking forward to this all season. We didn't know what we were going to get, and if you were to pick two teams to end up in the final at the beginning of the season, I think you would have gotten it wrong. This has been so close the entire time, and we're left with the last resort versus wer das liest, doof.
Yeah, it is truly wild indeed. If you are out there and you're living under a rock, let me remind you what is happening in said rock. ETF2L 6v6 are having their autumn season. It's 2023 still. We're almost at the tail end and we're almost Christmas time, and one team's looking for that nice final bounty of a present, and it's going to either be the last resort or there's at least this doof. And you're right, Peter. These two teams weren't expected to be in it. You had teams like Witness, who kind of bowed out early in the stage of the entire season because they just didn't want to play with this map pool. And then Mandem, this team that was kind of biting at the heels of Witness all through last season, have managed to just kind of beef it one more time in this playoff bracket. And they've got themselves another bronze medal. Could you write it, Peter?
It would kind of seem like bad writing, to be honest, for a team to pull the same exact stunt 2 seasons in a row, where they win the regular season and then end up getting third. It is just pulling a Mandem at this point. They've solidified that, so pretty incredible stuff already.
Yeah.
To have that happen, and then Forfence, they got fourth. I was kind of expecting finally a French team
that
was
was
not going to play.
Yeah, that was the team that was facing off in the final against Witness Gaming last season as well. Correct me if I'm wrong. So, again, another sort of storyline everyone expected to happen. We're just getting upsets on upsets.
Yeah, and instead we're going to get Shocky in a grand final back again after 23 seasons. I think it was like season 22 or something to that regard, where he was last in the grand finals. It's kind of crazy how long a break that is for him to still be good enough to get to the grand finals. That's nuts.
Yeah, you're really getting a renaissance of all these players kind of coming back. I'm seeing Corndog is a little bit on fire. I didn't think that would be a name that would come back to kind of show these whippersnappers how it's done. And also, I want a little shout out to the storyline of KN. The man was playing on Mandem and got like booted or kicked to the curb, and now here he is in the grand final settings, towering above his former teammates. It's got to feel good, Peter.
Yeah, he absolutely won the bragging rights in that whole saga. That's for sure. It's always been a discussion of like what happened to Mandem last season, and now KN can say, "Well, it wasn't me." Like he's been playing really, really well so far. He's like actually been putting on a bit of a carry job for his team here in wer das liest, doof. So yeah, you just gotta give him the credit that he deserves right now. And whether or not he can keep it up in the finals here, or if TLR is just turning out to be this team that just somehow manages to edge out every other one and be a bit of kryptonite for every other team, even though they don't seem to be that much better. I'm very interested to see how this is all going to play out. But yeah, I think there's some. Actually, I've been seeing KN play a lot of Sniper, and the first map is Product. So that is very exciting to me. He's been pulling it out a lot.
Now, if you're completely unaware what's going on in the ETF2L space, this is a grand final. It's going to be a best of 3. It could have been a best of 5, but it was led up to the two teams. And the two teams wanted to go to bed tonight, Beta, and I applaud them on that as well. My voice applauds them on that decision as well. So you are right. It will be Product. It will be Sunshine as our second map. And our third map will be that Metalworks Decider that's been kind of up in the air for a lot of teams, whether or not they're performing well or not on said map. But let's go for the two teams as keep it El Clasico in this sort of El Clasico grand final setting. As we've got the last resort, they have the following team members. Pandemic and Flick will be playing your scouts respectively. They've been switching a bit, I think, between Pocket and Roma, so I'll let them decide what's going on with that. Matt and Ryan are playing the Pocket and the Roaming Soldier respectively. Zams is playing that lovable Demo Man, and June will be playing Medic.
Yeah, and I think it's worth noting that TLR kind of struggled in the beginning of the season, and then where they had Flick on pocket, and then they moved Flick to roaming scout, and it's just been working out really well ever since. So something definitely clicked somewhere in there.
I could see also just a little kind of footnote as well. I saw little elements, they're kind of showing of their ceiling. Yeah, they showed some of that flaw, that skill flaw a little bit at the beginning, but the potential was definitely there to be seen in those early on weeks that at least I was watching and got to cast. So that was real nice. But over on the side of das liest doof, we have Stefan or Shockey over and on Scout. Voxy will also be buddying his Scout as well. Fishkoff and KN will be playing the Soldiers, and Philip will be playing Demoman, and we've got Corndog or Connor on Medic.
Yeah, really storied team there. Obviously, you have the experience there of Shockey, been in so many great teams over the years. And you have other players that have quite a lot of experience as well. You have KN, who's kind of recently been very, very strong and been in a lot of playoffs. Voxtech has been on some really good teams as well. He's been in grand finals before. Condog, I believe he played in Ascent a whole lot. So absolutely some pedigree in there. And then you have Philip, who has much less experience at the very top levels of TF2. So him being able to pull his own weight is definitely a credit to him. And then I will also mention that, we have these three maps, which is Product, Sunshine, and Metalworks. And these two teams, they have played in the season before, obviously. And in that match, they played Sunshine and Metalworks. And TLR won Sunshine 4-0. And then das liest doof, they won Metalworks 2-1 in Golden Cap. So pretty interesting to see that they've already played these two maps against each other and they split them.
But it's been a long time since then. A lot of these teams show growth throughout the season and learn a lot of lessons, and you could definitely see it, at least compared to those early on weeks. And I'm fairly confident in saying that everybody in this server is playing at their height right now. Like everybody, at least in the scale of like the season. I mean, the only one that you could maybe point a question at, mark at, is maybe Shockey, but then that dude kind of did rule the roost for like years on end. But still, though, he is looking on fire, and maybe even kind of a callback to those sort of days.
Yeah, he should be well and good, done and dusted and completely washed up at this point, right? If there was any logic to how this works. But no, he's just still really, really good. He was down in like Div 2, Div 1, and even Div 3 over the years, kind of hanging out, playing on German teams. But he was always sort of active the entire time, I feel. He never really went away. He just kind of went out of relevance a little bit, but still maintaining his skill. And now he's back. And I'm really excited because he's one of my favorite players of all time. Just that really twitchy play style where just warps enemy teams out of position by running behind, threatening to backstab, going for back caps, all that good stuff, and then just even hitting some good shots. All very, very nicely done by him. And now that we're going to start out here on Product, and as I said, he was playing a lot of Sniper. On the final process map, he played Sniper for almost half of it, I feel like. It was so much. And maybe he's just going to continue to go here on Product. And I kind of wonder how that's going to go. And also, I will wonder, do you think it's going to be a factor that the Germans are kind of warmed up, whereas TLR, this is their first real match of the day?
That is the age-old question. And usually these sorts of things get kind of prophesized by some also other little advantage, kind of thrown a bone to the higher seed. But I think from what I could discover, the only thing you get from being the high seed is whether you're Team A or Team B in the band picking process. And some people like this, some people do not. I'm not sure if I even dare push your opinion on the stream, Beast. I don't want all these impressionable people start throwing our Team Fortress TV threads, but I don't know. It just seems like being warmed up is certainly a very big thing in the game of TF2. FPS does feel like a feel game rather than a think game. And if you're TLR, you're struggling to get PCW opponents as well, somebody to just practice with, because everyone else is kind of folded or they're done with the game by this point.
Yeah, it gets more and more difficult, but I mean, this is still in normal scrim time type of deals, right? It's pretty easy to get a scrim for 8. So I don't think that's a worry, really. It's just more that scrims are not real matches. And the fact that you have real matches just is so different. The intensity just can't really be compared. Of course, the intensity can tire you out. It can burn you out. And then, of course, if you have all these really intense matches, goes to 3, you're on golden caps, all that kind of stuff, and then you have to go relax for 2 hours. Do you just completely come off of it? Do you just cool down to the point where you might as well not have played? Or is it just too much of a whiplash kind of feeling? Or can you just instantly go back up because you never really quite went down? You're still in that mindset. It's very difficult to say, I feel.
Yeah, I think in the grand final settings, this is a sort of titlement that people care about. I know it's an online league, but it's still a games that people care and they want to kind of tout that they've done so and been there and all that. So adrenaline's going to be pumping a little bit. People are going to be kind of playing things that they don't usually play. You kind of see this a little bit already in playoffs when people are playing things very carefully than say what they were doing like regular official week-to-week games, or maybe even obviously PCWs.
Yeah, I've also mentioned that in the Germans versus Mandem games, both maps started out with both teams being extremely passive and just looking at what the enemy team was going to do. And it ended up being just like spamming each other out for 1.5 minutes, and then like a Roma got picked off, and then they backed off out of the mid. And that's what happened on basically all 3 maps to begin with, and then they just adapted from there. So I wouldn't be too surprised if both teams just kind of sat back, looked at each other a little bit, and then just kind of tried to figure out what their opponents are up to. But I will also say that if that's what you're going to do, then having a sniper mid can be really good, because if both teams are passive, then the team with the sniper will have an advantage, because eventually he's just going to get a pick. So I'm talking myself into we're going to see the sniper just right out of the gate on this map. And you can't really stop me from thinking so. It's in the cards, man.
So is it all eyes on KN tonight in yours, or is there any sort of other big boss kind of gamer in this server that you have your eye on as well?
I have my eyes on Flick as well. I think if TLR wants to win this, he's going to have to really just come out of the gates, just swinging, being super impactful, and having so much to do. He's going to be fighting on the flank against Shockey and Fishkop. And if he can just absolutely dominate this is especially because this is product, a scout map like no other, he can just single-handedly turn the tides for his team. So him is probably what I'm going to be looking for. And then the Sams versus Philip demo fight should always be interesting as well. I think they're going to be pretty equally matched up here, but just from all the stats that I've seen, Sams always has insane damage. So like, even if he doesn't come up with those big plays, the damage output is so consistent with him that that's almost certainly going to be something that's worth keeping an eye on, and just a constant thing you have to deal with.
All right, well, we're going to put away our tournament, and we're actually going to end the tournament here coming up real soon, Beta. So just one last little footnote before we go into things. Who's going to win? Just who's going to win? Who's going to win this final, Beta?
Well, I can already tell you, I'm a little bit biased. I want the Germans to win. I want Werder's Liesdorf to win.
Wunderbar.
I just like those guys more. You know, I used to play on a team with Fitzkopf. Shockey's one of my favorite scouts. Condog is really funny. I like that team a lot. But TLR, I just have this sinking feeling that they're just going to somehow outperform everyone else. So I'm very unsure, but I'm going to go with my heart on this one. And I'm going to say we're going to have a 3-2 win for them on this first map.
Oh, I'll be the contrary. I will back up the horses of TLR. This is Flick season. I can smell it. If you're just joining us, this is Team Fortress TV. This is Toe Tabs and Beta and Dr. Underscore bringing you our game, our grand final, the last resort versus Werdas this doof. And my God, Matt is already down before I even finish my monologue.
Yeah, so much for that passive mid here. As just immediately TLR just jump into them extremely aggressively, takes a ton of ground, manages to get a nice little pick advantage, and I'm actually kind of surprised just how deep everyone from the Germans are staying in. They don't really have much here. They have better respawn waves, obviously, because they lost the point. Whoever holds the points get longer respawns. But that's almost it. So good first mid from them, but Condog's still alive, and they're about to take this fight, I think, and just take it from here. Maybe they're going to jump the soldiers in behind. That's what we usually see.
Yeah, I don't really. They're kind of fashionably late to the party so far. They're just going for regular old sort of damage, and they will pop off a single Uber onto Voxy, but they respond in kind with a pandemic Uber, and they're just keeping everybody else out of the mixes during all these Ubers. So Ubers have been exchanged, no real damage, no real frags either, and no real jumpers to be said in the post-fight, but this damage seems just a little bit better than what that's these do. KN spots some weakness on the flank and will get the kill onto Ryan, and with that first domino falling. However, trading Philip out, I don't like it, Beta.
Yeah, so it doesn't matter too much immediately that Philip died. However, now that he's not here, they're going to be really free to push back in here in TLR. There's not going to be those sneaky traps they have to deal with. So it's going to give them a lot of space to deal with. It's going to be very comfortable for them to take this new fight. And even though the Ubers are completely even, just the fact that Sams can go in here and deal a bunch of damage to begin with should give them a small advantage, as Fiskop is actually being warded really far back, whereas Ryan will end up getting traded out first, but they got pushed back here in Vantage Least Doof, so they're now back here, and they're going to have to come push back in, and it kind of seems like both teams are just... Oh, what a pipe there. Boxtech going down, he wanted to take that Uber. Now it's going to be a little bit more complicated, and Condog hits hit with another pipe as well. He might just have to pop this pretty soon if he wants to get a good Uber trade.
Now they're taking things slow and steady. Fishikoff actually will go in for the hero
Oh my
bomb.
god, so close.
Can't quite find June, however. And with nobody really past the point of kind of contributing, that was just kind of a Hail Mary that missed.
Fiskop was so close to getting off that third rocket there. That would have been a 100% guaranteed drop or pop there from June. Unfortunately for him, he doesn't get it. So I think it's just going to have to be another trade. You can see Box taking really far forward. I think that at some point they're just going to start walking across this point. Condog has taken a bit of damage. And here we go. Here's the trade.
Yeah, Philip goes down again though. Zam's finding the pipes and they are deciding most of the game so far. And TLR, not in the greatest post-Uber fight position. KN, nice little rocket to kill out Matt and keeps himself alive as well. Gets a kill onto Pandemic. That's going to keep more numbers on the side of where that's these Doof, and they can maybe keep responding with this. If Fishcock can keep himself alive, I curse the man, as he will go down to a nice clinical sticky from Zans.
Yeah, you just had to open your big mouth there, didn't you? Just absolutely curse the man to absolutely secure death. And they're going to be enough here for TLR to move across the point, cap it out. Condog is kind of weak, but he is definitely alive here, as KN is going to get taken down. Looks like they want to take another trade here. Sam's is taking so much damage. Good surf there, but he is out of the fight for the moment, though.
Out of the fight is better than truly out of the fight, and they'll just heal up, kind of chew down a health pack and be ready to push back into it. Not really any sort of major mistakes when it comes to just Ubering in and wiping. It seems the deciding factors for both of these teams is who catches a stray pipe.
It is very often the thing that decides. Actually, we're going to have an Uber out here very aggressively. Takes in both Madness and Pandemic. Usually it's just a single scout, but this time around, it's just going to be both teams. Oh my god, the flick just barely dodging all of those rockets midair. Some acrobatics being pulled out, but the Germans, they're going to stabilize enough here to come out and take mid back before it got capped out. So time is ticking down for them. They are currently in the position where they have to catch up, but so much aggression there. Both Fiskov and KN jumping in, just crossing over the middle. Oh my god, Ryan just destroys Shocking midair. Great rocket from him, and I think it's just going to be too much here. They're going to have to give up the point for the Germans.
Yeah, they will get those respawns just ever so quicker now that they just capped it. I don't really like this idea of capping the point then, just for some cheeky couple of seconds. It allows their players to come back into the fight just that little bit sooner, and now they're soon going to be fighting off in like a 6v4 situation. They will pop up Uber now, but they use their own Uber over on the side of the Germans, and they're trying to go in deep. This should be a painful Uber for them to deal with, and there, they take out June, but they need to keep Condog alive, and they won't stay alive for long. And now, with everybody kind of throwing their desperate positions out, it's seeing who the dust settles on. It will be a red team mid.
Yeah, June's gonna spawn first, though. She died earlier on, and they lost the point, so she's gonna get the faster spawn. That means more heals immediately here for TLR. So they're in a pretty good position to cap it back, and there's only 7 seconds on the clock. So if this gets capped out, it's not going to be a lot of time here for the Germans to cap it back. But this is some real soldier aggression. Oh my god, I think KN just hit another insanely high air shot.
Yeah, Fishkoff also going into for the jugular, but can't really find the pick he's looking for in that big massive ray. I thought they were doing like a boyfriend bomb, but there was kind of a split change of targets between the both of them. And it's going to be kicking them now because Condog went down during all that chaos. With only a couple of seconds left, they have to make the push, and they have to make it without heals.
Yeah, it's going to be very difficult. They're doing their best. There's lots of time on it, actually. So if the time decays, that is going to be enough. But oh, this Uber, that's going to be that. Nice pipe coming out of Sam's is going to clean that up. Time's going to run out, and TLR going to take a 1-0 lead here. Still only 7 seconds on the clock for the Germans, so still a very close game. But it definitely felt like TLR was in control for most of that round.
Alright, first impressions, Zams is having a fantastic game, Philip is not having a fantastic game, and Fishkoff is kind of being thrown a bit to the walls, or maybe he's just throwing himself to the walls, as he's not going for a great game either. But that's just the first round. We're going into our second one so far, and my god, we have started off kind of blaring out of the gate, and Zams is following up my sort of review of that first round. He's still having a good game.
Yeah, I love how aggressively they're playing this on TLR. They're just jumping their soldiers across immediately, and they're just getting so much damage done. Even the scouts are just getting caught up in all the spam. So even though it's like probably directed towards Condog and Philip, it's actually the scouts that end up dying. But what is Condog eating of this spam?
It's just meals on wheels, signed here and here, and just eating meal after meal.
But Sam's though.
Yeah, they actually. Yeah, they do find a couple of sort of damage and picks and plays onto these scouts. I think that's what happens when you have some of your team backing out. You don't quite get the memo until later on, and some scouts are just kind of left dying to this poor German attack.
Early on in the season, I saw Sam's. He would very often kind of just go in alone and get picked off. So it's worth keeping an eye on if that's going to keep happening here. As we have another Uber, Mattis is way behind line here as the counter Uber comes in. Ryan somehow caught in, not quite dead yet, but is eventually going to get picked off here. But here comes Mattis in from behind. Oh, what a pipe from Philip. That was nasty. It's just going to be Sam's left alive here. He will get the nice pipe onto KN, but he's going to have to retreat back here while everyone else is just getting set up. And Philip, very crucially, alive for that after those nice air pipes. Going to set up some sticky traps. That's going to be annoying for TLR to deal with.
So they did force their Uber over on the doof, but then they had to back out, and they went into an area I like to call the death zone, because you just sit by and you have all this high ground against you, and they were just so hard for them to fight back against them over on TLR, so they just ended up going down to all the players one by one, and the scouts just couldn't really have an impact as well from their positions.
It's a pretty significant advantage right now for the Germans. They're getting ready to go back in here. They're not building that well right now. But you can see Condog, he's really far forward. He's just getting ready to jump in here with his scout. And here comes the exchange. Or at least they're pressuring up to do it. Yeah, there we go. But everyone else is kind of far away on TLR. This exchange is not really an exchange. It's just an Uber that used to get the point, and now going to have to defend against the full Uber.
Yeah, I don't think they were quite aware that they had a little bit of advantage there, otherwise you'd have seen them go a bit more aggressive with it. They just wanted to kind of weasel out the point instead, and just with the handler forced a nice kind of kill onto Zams now. Finally, with the Zams taken out, you can see the wind taken out of the sails of TLR. They are not going aggressive anymore, Beta.
Yeah, I think it actually might be a really good idea to just focus on Zams and hopefully just make him overextend and then pick him off, because that has been a problem he's faced throughout most of the season. But here comes people from Pandemic. You're going to have to go back. I think Philip is not long. He's going to get picked off here. But Condog, he's not running back to last. He's actually just...
He's gone down again, Beta. It's a prophecy, it seems. The poor lad has to face off his early week demons in this early game.
Yeah, luckily for him, his team is still ahead 1-0, and he's doing a lot of damage. He's been doing a lot of good so far, so no panic just yet. Condog getting jumped by both soldiers.
Oh, everybody's on Condog, but
what a
nobody
surf.
can find Condog. Condog surfing away not just once, not just twice, but 3 times. And that will keep the still heart beating for those Lasties to end their hopes in this game.
Condog started out the day just going absolutely ham. He died once on the first map that they played. So in general, his survivability has been off the charts. And he's looking to definitely keep that up here. June also has been extremely good in these playoffs. So these two medics, they have shown themselves to be very difficult to kill. But Viaduct product is a very unforgiving map. You're going to get bombed a whole lot. So, I hope you like dodging, because you're going to be doing it a lot.
They were forced to pop out. It was just too hot in this kitchen, and they will finally pop out over on June. But that's going to be probably a priority target. Does actually get killed off by Voxy now, and they're going to back off. They're going to try and protect Condog because they've got all this aggression heading towards their way. And they do get a couple of players in this sort of defense squad conundrum. Fishkov coming from behind, a backstab with the soldier. And Zams will still be alive for this occasion, to say the least. But it's just good books in the world of where that's this doof.
Fishkov survived there in like 1 HP, just running around with the skill stick. Just managed to get a single rocket off that. I kind of got that, but unfortunately the respawn is here not quite coming in time here for the Germans. So they're going to let this cap out, but look at the timer. It says 0 seconds. If the cap falls at any point, this round is over. So they're just going to take their time. They even have the Uber out, so they can just build that and then go in with that. And TLR, they're going to have their work cut out for them here, because holding off this point against an Uber is going to be very difficult, not to even let it cap, because you can't let it cap even for a second.
Yeah, and you also have the little bit of advantages. Those respawners, they're on your side, so this is really a stacked deck in the side of TLR. But this is a good start off, because they've used the Uber. They got nothing, Beta. They got absolutely nothing. They finally get Ryan now, but they've lost all this position. Everyone's already low, so ready. They've lost Fishkop as well. They're entering the fire, and they will actually start with a pandemic kill. That is a strong start. They're just trying to cheekily cap off the point, but they forgot about the Uber during all this, Beta. But they're under the 4 times cap. Can you back cap on the game when there's only 1 point?
Yeah, they're actually just pulling players back, so this is just going to be a full-on brawl of a fight. Oh my god, June is just dancing around. Matt is going to come in, try to help. No, it's not going to be enough.
Noses. Why get kills when you can get capped, Beta?
Yeah, that was absolutely crazy. They just kept on going for the point. They were just little buzzing bees. Just whenever you look one way to try to kill a medic, there's just a scout running in onto the point and threatening to cap that out. That's the power of having that 0 second clock. If you just lose the point for a microsecond, it's over. They really well played there by the Germans, 1-1.
Right, we're in for a game. It's reset. Everybody is showing that they have the prowess to take this game, and they've got the plan. So let's see if they take things. There's a lot more steady this time. Notice there's a bit more respect from TLR, Beta.
Yeah, the thing is slow. Kind of surprising, honestly, just because of how well the mids have been going. But I suppose you can't throw your soldiers in every single time and expect it to work out. They are going to come in, though, and actually doing a lot of work. Condog dancing around again, just gracefully flying through the air. And this time around, once again, he's going to get out alive. And yeah, this might just be a thing where if you send in too many people on Condog, he's just going to punish you so hard.
Oh, the pipe finally hits that massive blob of blue players that are just dancing and fluttering around all these rockets, all these pipes. But keep throwing the dice long enough, Beta, you're going to come up with snake eyes. And it's TLR, however, can come back into this now. They do have an overcharge. They didn't completely roll triples 3 times, so let's see how they take this Uber in. They will pop in first, and Condog responds. Nobody really on him to start off with, and KN goes down during all the chaos as well. And give credit to TLR, they disengage really well, Beta.
Yeah, June just goes up into the skybox, takes a little trip up there, and then Ryan's going to come in, just destroy Fisk. He's going to try to go for the flank shock. He's there to shut it down, though, but Ryan's still alive. And just the pressure right now for TLR is just so great that they just slowly edge out the point and pressure everyone back. Really well played by them, getting that KN pick in the initial Uber. Really great stuff by them. Just they're really good at extending forward and then not overextending while still getting a little pick and getting back to their team.
These are the kind of plays where if you're playing and just looking at the poll of, say, Ryan, you don't really feel the impact, but when you're zooming around in the camera like I am, you can see how much impact it makes just seeing them kind of overcommit for Ryan in these sort of ways that he kind of just draws aggro, and they're going to come back into it. Nice rocket! They pop off the Uber now, but there's nobody left, and with only one Demoman, this is the saddest kind of Uber you could have.
Yeah, it was very unfortunate there. Kondoki was super weak, and he was also on like 97%. Okay, actually, Phil's going to jump in very aggressively. This is going to be a suicide wave. Really well done by them. Gets off exactly what they want, and Kondoki is out safely. Just playing really far back. Great stuff by them. There's good decision there by Philip to go in for the suicide wave. I feel like a lot of players would have just taken it easy and waited it out and gone for the repush again here. But yeah, they're going to equalize the Ubers. Actually, they're going to have a small Uber ad, and they're going to know exactly how big it is. So now it's just a matter of can they get Sam. You can see Sam plays really far forward, so he is definitely...
Oh my god. Toting the line, very thin margins here, but they will get the pick, and Kane even gets the flank kill as well. I don't even need the Uber to get this mid capture, and yeah, TLR all backed off into one corner. If they see a medic, I can see them just launching themselves at him, Peter.
Yeah, you don't want to get too close there when you have that kind of slight edge. Right? You don't want to give them a straight sideline because you're just going to immediately get hunted down. But as it is, it's just going to be, can they actually put on the pressure here? And it's going to be another Uber. It's interesting how they keep taking Pandemic and Mattis in these Ubers. It's not just the single Scout Uber. It's a little bit different. Usually it's the demo and the Scout, but the sticky trap for both teams there, both demos showing their big IQ. Fiskov gets air piped as well. Santa's behind lines right now. How did he end up there?
He's just playing so aggressively, and usually this is a position where you're dying, but he just kind of surfed his way out, and now he's kind of off-classing as the roamer demo man, I suppose.
Yeah, absolute roamer demo, and he hasn't been dealt with yet. You can't really...
He's going to get back to his team at this rate. Oh, it finally goes down now, but they've lost so much ground and time and sort of focus here over on versus this doof.
Yeah, they can be a bit more aggressive here despite the Uber disadvantage on the German team, because usually one of the big things that can happen is you Uber the demo into the enemy team and then he's going to sticky out your medic and chase him down. That doesn't quite happen in the same way, but Voxtec gets taken down. He was one of the main drivers in this Uber, and maybe they just want to take in Shocky and get the Uber exchange out of the way, but maybe they just feel better waiting for Voxtec to get back.
No, they're just... upticking that point ever so slightly. They don't want to make it almost like a light switch. It's like, right, that point is now ours. But they have to take a couple of bit of TLR resistance. Nobody really wants to be the first one to jump in and make the deciding factor. It's just a regular focus spam. Finally comes out, but Flick and Pandemic, bad time to kind of meet up in the same square on the map. They will pop off Uber over on TLR. Zams finds a random Philip kill. Is he invisible? Is nobody going to address him? Finally goes down now, but with both Demoman traded and the point kind of captured, it does kind of make a new win condition for TLR. Very simple, and they get those respawns on their side, so kind of time to give a taste of their own medicine here, Peter.
Yeah, if the Germans want to take this round, they're just going to hold it for over a minute now straight, and that's a very tall order. Even though they're in a pretty nice position, the Ubers are even. If anything goes wrong at any point, they're just done for, and these soldier bombs from TLR have been so difficult to deal with. Ryan is going to get dealt with, though, very efficiently so, but look how capped out the point is. They can't leave it too far. This does restrict them quite a bit here on Vedas, at least the Doof, but they're doing so well right now. They're just absolutely crunching this TLR team.
But they're trading too much for my liking, Peter, and can you see those dominoes just getting about that ever so quicker for TLR? And it still gives them a little bit of time to get maybe KM back into the fight now, but they're fighting now a 4v6. They pop off an Uber to stop that capture, and they respond over on TLR, but this is definitely hard mode for Verdastis do. Fishkov tries to go behind, immediately meets Ryan from the respawn queue, and they just are throwing bodies at the point, and TLR just have more bodies.
Yeah, it's that respawn queue like you were talking about, just having the shorter respawns, getting into the fight earlier on, it is so difficult when you trade out like that really evenly. It just becomes more and more difficult to hold it on, and it ended up just resulting in Flick just running over Philip, unable to be flashed into the Uber, and from there it was just a matter of everyone just teaming up and getting it. Okay, Ryan's gonna do the worst bomb I've ever seen in my entire life.
Oh no, Matt did the worst bomb. He's like, it's okay, bro, I've got you covered, as he kind of shows him how bad things could get. You do have Fishkoff, who shows a bit of contender. Oh, did I remind you, KN's on Sniper. You called it, Peter.
Yeah, it happened a little later than I expected, but we are finally seeing it. So it was a very unfortunate time for the TLR soldiers to beef their jumps. Because you want that aggression to really hit when there's an enemy
Pandemic.
sniper.
Respawn sniper, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
I like this. I always love a counter sniper, even if there's like a bit of a skill difference, but there's no skill difference here, as Pandemic will get the kill on KN. That surprise factor alone will kind of give him. And now the shoe's on the other foot. And oh my god, it's kicked so hard, Peter.
Yeah, Pandemic, he's no slouch. The Australian scout there, just showing that he can work it on any continent here. Actually, really aggressive play right now for Voxtec. Is that Voxtec running behind? Yeah, it is. Just he warps the entire enemy team out of position, but he didn't get too much done there. Fishkoff's gonna die as well. Just keep feeding into Pandemic. And finally, the Germans, they're gonna lose this point. And now they're going to have to push into this Sniper. This is very uncomfortable. Sniper is, of course, so much better on product than almost any other map. Just KOF maps in general, Sniper is really good because the main weakness of Sniper is that he can't help with a push or retreat fast enough. But yeah, Philip going down here again, really big. Sniper, he doesn't have to be mobile on a KOF map. There's only 1 point to defend and cap anyway. So a lot of the disadvantage is mitigated here. And Philip going down, that is annoying. It's just going to mean that this push is not, or any pressure that they would have been able to put on, just not happening. And it's not going to give them as much space for KN to do his work.
Yeah, you don't see attacking Sniper much because it just feels very much burden for your team in the sense that, okay, well, he's not burdened right now, but Pandemic will shut him down for such a evil prejudistic. Oh my god, he actually gets a snipe on Philip as well, so he kind of shows off what he can do and more. They finally get the sniper just from kind of Ubering into the goddamn man, and yeah, I guess with those respawners on the side, they will finally claim this point, and KN still wants to keep rocking that sniper.
Yeah, I think it's worth noting that in a lot of these Uber exchanges, Philip has been being picked off, and that's a really bad situation to be in, right? Like, you want your demo man to be alive. I don't think I need to underpin that point very hard for people to understand, but it is interesting that they're not really...
Oh my god.
These snipers, they're just constantly trading.
I think we need to change the category to Duck Hunt for this video game.
Yeah.
These other players are just playing NPC roles right now.
Yeah, these snipers, they hate Scottish people, that's for sure. They just keep picking off these demo men over and over and over again. So far, Philip is staying alive, which is really nice, because it means that the Germans can hold on to their point here. But KN is also playing pretty aggressively on this sniper. And I think they're going to eventually have to give up this point. Yeah, they are going to lose it there. Flick will cap it out.
Also, Ryan did switch off to Scout, by the way. It just goes to show how valued Scout is on a map like this. You will kind of change your class, your identity, just to kind of keep one on board. And, I mean, that's a point in the favour of KN. He's just a soldier. He's replaceable with this sniper class.
Yeah, very true. I will say after we did the gunboat plugin, sort of became a lot better. But oh my god, these snipers again, they always get the kills at exactly the same time here. But Pandemic stays alive, so he can continue to potentially do damage. But Sam's is getting picked off here. June just lets him die. He decides to hold on to Uber instead of saving her demo man, and that's definitely going to come out handy when they do this repush. Obviously, it's going to end up losing them the point immediately. But she says that we wouldn't have been able to hold on to it anyway, even if we went on to here. So just let the demo man die. Yeah.
It's a smart decision, in theory. More like so the liest stuff. If they take out a scout with the sniper and then they lose their sniper, they can just exchange the Uber. And then during all that chaos, you're a bit more thankful to have no sniper than you are having a sniper. So I commend it very much. for the elasticity stuff. We do have a pause right now, which can only lead me to believe that, we've got some tactical pausing going. Somebody's feeling a bit disheartened and they need a prep talk.
Yeah, could be. Also could be players having some issues here. But I think we should talk about this position because we have a pretty classic Uber situation, right? And Condor could definitely get chased down here, right?
Oh no, he's healed. He's healing a scout right now. This man has got. Oh wait, well, he's healing a scout. He's got the scout taxi out of there. Philip, on the other hand, that man is dead. Like, rest in peace. Let's start digging this grave.
It's definitely been a theme so far in this map that the demo men get left to rot and just gets picked off and just taken out back and put down out of their misery. Whether or not it's by a sniper or a soldier or the scouts, it's just everyone's got their sights set on these demo men. And yeah, it kind of looks like Philip is going forward right now. But I'm also not sure whether or not Condog is actually retreating because if you look at where he's standing, he can't actually see the Uber yet. So he might not realize the danger that he's in.
No, I'm sure somebody, all 5 of these eyeballs that are on them right now, surely somebody's called out this Uber charge popping. And when you hear that, Condog's got to know that they're gunning for him.
Yeah, it's just, there's always that delay. If you see an Uber, you respond instantly.
Seeing is better than saying. I agree. But also, speaking of seeing, have they seen this trap here of TLR? It looks like everybody might get in the mix of this Uber. And, if you're not part of that Uber for half a second, that trap might call curtains for somebody.
Yeah, it's very easy to see how Flick could just jump over this fence, right, and get insta-deaded. So definitely something to keep an eye on. And, I was talking earlier about how it seems like TLR, they're doing these scout soldier Ubers quite a bit where Mattis is part of the Uber. This is a much more normal Uber where we see the demo man being part of it. And especially when you're going up against a team that doesn't have Uber themselves, it is just so good to have a demo man in there because he can just jump in and put some stickies behind the medic. And even if he's not instantly killing the medic, you can put stickies there. But okay, here we go. Somehow Philip is in the skybox.
Oh my god.
Not that Sam's get picked off. This is a disaster. Oh my god.
Oh, Philip it's fine, Philip. Yeah, the yin to his yang will go down as well. No, somehow Condog has to deal with a scout behind. Actually deals with the scout behind. And KM, he's hunting.
Yeah, KM just took down the medic. Was like, I'm invincible. I can do everything. And Condog, he just drops some binds, takes down Flick. And this worked out really well for them. The spawns aren't great, obviously, because they hold the point. So Ryan's going to go forward. Shockey's kind of alone out here on an island, but he will slither out of there. And now the Reaper's about to come back in here for Condog. He is on 99%. Let's go in there.
They should know they've got this advantage. Yeah, they popped off quite early. They see June, and they're going to get on top of June. So with the medic taken out for TLR, it's looking like a really difficult kind of ask to deal with Elastic's stuff. And look at them just entering the blob and not coming out of the other side, Peter.
Condog just surviving that as well. Ryan made his way in behind. Nobody really spotted him, but he didn't manage to get off the rest. That's going to be that. 2-1. I think it was attack pause, just like you said it was. And 2-2. This is going to be the final round to decide who gets this first map in the grand final.
And we'll never know who made that pause. At least I won't know. Maybe Archon people might know. But again, we are going into our final round for this map. And TLR did. Okay, TLR were the one we're having a little bit of a prep talk beta. So let's see if their wise words have resonated with them.
Yeah, and they've decided not to be aggressive, which is very unfortunate because KN is just sitting back on Sniper, just scoping
Pandemic's on Sniper too, though. I think they should see this coming, as shots have been exchanged between both of them.
Flick is the lone scout right now in TLR, so...
Oh, good point.
Yeah, so it is a double soldier. You kind of think they would want to bomb in when you have double soldier because the more you sit back, the better a scout becomes. But they're just taking their time. They trust their own process right now.
I mean, the Germans are actually quite tame as well. Where are they? They've got 2 scouts. Philip finally showing some chest hair over on this mid, as will they actually get the pick onto Voxy to start off with. Maybe that's why everyone was playing passively, showing a little bit of less of that chest hair. But now it will be TLR just getting that midpoint 3 because everyone's playing so careful right now, Peter.
Yeah, you don't want to do any unforced errors, and obviously as a medic, you never want to just peek your head out there when you know there's a perma sniper. So very uncomfortable situation for both teams right now. But Philip's actually going to take down Flick. That's the lone scout dying.
He gets the kill onto Pandemic. That's freeing as a sniper. When the snipers take off the field, you know that you can kind of start playing more of your sniper game unhindered this time. And usually your team is kind of more postured to support you, the sniper, not really supporting an anti-sniper position. So I think TLR not really going to be able to be equipped to deal with the sniper right now until they get... Oh, actually, Pandemic's not even coming back as sniper.
No, they're just going to go good old stock or cookie cutter lineup here. That's actually... Vox is just going to go forward without the Uber. Look how deep Kondog is. I kind of feel like Kondog is
committing.
But he's just fine. He's just fine behind lines. He's just on a trip, getting frags with his teammates, having a good time. Look at that. He just ran all the way to the enemy side, and it worked out just fine. Even KN surviving in this whole mess. Usually the sniper is the first one to just get picked off when things turn into chaos, but he is just completely fine as well. He hasn't hit anything in quite a while, so he's kind of due for a good shot now.
Ryan jumping straight in, getting in behind, has to play the sort of flank game, but it's just kind of feeding kills to the opposing team. I guess they really just want to go for a scouring Corndog kill, but don't really find that as well. Oh, KN, Duck Hunt, as he will get the Zams kill, and this is the sort of moments that feel kind of hopeless, Peter.
Yeah, it's very annoying to play against a sniper. There's a reason why people always complain about sniper, because it can feel so unfun. And it's just whenever there's these tiny advantages where probably a soldier scout could have killed you as well, but it just feels like you had so little input to go. Oh my god, Kondog goes down. Another drop for him in these playoffs, and this time around I have a hard time seeing how this is going to work out for his team, but KN is still alive. He just needs to hit a really big shot onto the enemy medic and everything's good in the world.
Yeah, it was very telegraphed as well. I feel like there was more certainly a poppable and a should be poppable kind of situation for him. But say like, hey, we all make mistakes, and they've got a bit more wiggle room. They have got 2 minutes left to tick away over on TLR, and they still feel the barrel of the gun because KN is holding it.
Yeah, they just recap it back immediately here. Obviously, June has the Urad still. So Kondog, he can't get too far forward. He's actually really far forward right now. He can get jumped so fast. It's going to be another Mattis endemic Uber. And this time around, doesn't seem to get too much. They jumped the sniper, but unable to get him. Aggression still not getting much. Wow.
Yeah, they just really want to go aggressive, but credit to the scouts of the Germans. They are feasting on these soldiers when they rear their head on their side of the map. And the only thing they can kind of count lucky is that TLR do kind of get the point to cap for free if they can just not get a sniper bullet between the red.
Yeah, Kondog, I think he's about to pop it here, but Shocky gets picked off before the Uber comes in. Philip, though, he wants to get onto June. June dances around, unable to take her down. That's really unfortunate here. So it's going to be another repush here, but it's only 30 seconds. You can't give them too much time. You can't dawdle. June, she's going to have to build up the Uber and just go in basically immediately. And obviously, oh, by the way, there's going to be a perma sniper to deal with.
It's okay, KM. We're not fast enough fingers for that. It does kind of slow down a soldier in the meantime, and will finally get pressured out in this point of the game. They have an Uber charge. KM does. Oh god, they're actually losing a lot more players to say they've got an Uber charge. They're just seeing if they can get the capture before they even use an Uber. But I don't know about this.
Oh, Sam's gets picked off as well. There is this Uber. It's actually done really well. These scouts are picking up. Wow. But at post-Uber here, it could definitely end in disaster still.
Uh-oh. One scout. One kill. Oh, no. Actually, Voxy will turn it around, stop that streak. And, yeah, they kind of collapsed on that Uber charge a bit early for my liking. I think they thought it was such an inevitability that they were playing a bit cocky. And, yeah, kind of pincered at the end there. They have got a minute to kind of dust themselves off once more and try this one more time. They're not even rocking a sniper this time. They just want to close out this round, Peter.
Yeah, I think it's a good decision. If you just push early on, the Uber's not really going to be a factor. So if you just get in on early,
Oh
this
my.
could be fine. What a counter bomb in there for the TLR soldiers, though.
Oh my
So
God.
much work. Everything's exploding from this guy. But actually, the Germans are kind of making a lot of
Shocky.
space.
Oh my! Oh, wait! Oh, TLR, they're gone. Foxy, he's alive, and he's not going to cap the point straight away because he wants his teammates to respawn just that little bit earlier, and they've gone to 3 or 4 seconds. I think there's not enough time anyway for them to come back, right? Yeah. So I don't know why they had to like kind of bruise their ego a little bit there, but you know, I guess you can't take the good plays out of the scout.
Yeah. It's really deeply in them to just
Yes,
get that better respawn. You know, so he's like, I capped the point and won the game, so that still feels bad because my 2 team players, they got a 5 seconds longer spawn out of it. You know,
there was just
really
an AI or a machine at this point. They will not divert from their programming, no matter the context.
Yeah. Oh well. Wow. Yeah. The Germans, they take it 3-2. Exactly what I said. So there you go. I'm a genius. And the Germans, they're looking really strong so far. It looks like warming up and coming in hot to the match is definitely the play. But it was a close game. This is anyone's game still.
So I'm going to load up the logs eventually. If you damn scrapers would just leave me alone for a second. There we go. Okay. All right, let's see.
Yeah, logs is being really slow right now. I think a lot of people are looking up logs right now.
Oh no, I clicked the wrong log. I'm back into the loading zone.
Yeah,
all right, it's fine. Let's just pretend what those logs look like. Predictions, we can call them, Beta. Who was having a good game? Who was, despite the logs, who has had a kind of unsung role in this sort of viaduct victory?
I think Voxtag and Jockey are both gonna have pretty good games, and I also think Flick had a pretty good game as well. And I think you're going to see it in Philip having lower damage than you might expect the Demo Man to have, because he got picked off quite a lot. And then I think KN probably had a pretty decent game. I feel like he got a lot of picks overall, and then when he went sniper, it was still working out really well.
I mean, yeah, I think the sniper, you're right, is just a big sort of bullet point in all this sort of viaducting during all of this, and it kind of changes like the mindset as well when you kind of remind yourself that you're in a world where snipers can happen and you have to keep flicking between like, okay, how do we play viaduct with a sniper, without a sniper, now we got a sniper, now we don't, you know what I mean? It's a lot of on the stress on the brain, Beta, and maybe it's just too much for any of these teams to kind of hold the composure after that.
Yeah, it is worth noting that we're going to Sunshine now, and this is the map that TLR won 4-0 in the regular season. So definitely don't count them out yet. But I got the logs to load here. So,
lucky you, because I have. Well, be my eyes for me, Beta. What do you see?
All right. Okay. So Voxtech, he went 34 and 16, really fracked out here, and then Flick 22 for 25. Actually, not all that great. And I think really the main thing that sticks out to me is, first of all, Philip had a much better game than I expected him to. He actually has fewer deaths than Sam's. I kept seeing Philip getting picked off.
I think Zams did kind of kick it up in an extra gear, or maybe Verdastistas Doof were just picking on the lad a little bit later in the game as well. So I think if it was first off Zams, we were very much credited him. He was keeping alive for any right he might to be. And I think they even changed like those sort of Ubers that you're talking about, where they're taking the soldiers in rather than the Demoman. I think they value his life in the game. And sadly, Verdastistas Doof don't value his life in the game.
Yeah, I'm still kind of puzzled with the soldier scout Ubers. That seems like a weird combination. I think maybe the idea is to drop the soldier behind lines anyway, right? So you have this Uber, you use the soldier in the Uber, but you also get him behind in the same order, in the same kind of move, kind of like when you do on Gollywas second, right? Where you jump the soldier behind after Ubering into choke, just maybe a bit more seamlessly. But we just didn't see him get behind lines. That's kind of my main idea, that maybe that's what they were going for. Whereas I think they would just be better off just using Sam's more in those Ubers, because he's doing a lot of damage. He's just getting picked off out of the Uber.
Speaking of getting picked off, these soldiers from TLR, oh boy, they were just entering the meat grinder over and over and over again. It's a sad life being a soldier beater. Sometimes your team just wants you to get in there, and sometimes it's getting into a scout combo of Voxy and Shocky.
Yeah, it is. It's a pretty sad state of affair, but I'll be really surprised if soldiers struggle on Viaduct against scouts. Like really, that's pretty normal. I will say, like the soldiers' damage are kind of lower than I thought. Always when we see like Silentus and Poppy play on Viaduct, they actually have really high damage. They still die like 30 times per map, but they do a ton of damage. They have like 300 DPM, right? So that's not something that we see. It's only KN we see having 300 plus DPM, and that's probably because of the sniper.
Yeah, I think KN was just finding his niche as the sniper, so he felt like pretty safe and happy. I think Vishkov just had a sort of a gear change. At the start, we did see him kind of jumping in a lot, kind of doing what Ryan and Matt were doing, but eventually then he just became flank master, and he just stayed by the health pack, and he's like, your health pack? No, my health pack.
Yeah, that's... he definitely figured things out a lot better early on. You know, he was definitely focusing down Sam's quite a bit, but then also just making sure to get onto the sniper, get onto the medic. He varied it quite a bit. He wasn't just doing one thing over and over again. He was just looking at what was open and then picking off those players whenever he could. And yeah, he got behind a couple of times as well, which just made these really chaotic fights work out. And so far, what we've seen from Verdes Liest Doof is that they've been really good in these team fights. Basically, against Mandem on the last map, they won every single major team fight. And it was just really impressive to see. So
I think the scouts, like Voxy, just anybody that seems to be on Condog, they have like a debuff on them. The scouts just can't start foaming at the mouth and start gobbling up these players at the last second margins. And combine that with Condog's like infuriating survivability, it makes a really baity combo, you know? You feel like you're doing the right thing, and really you're kind of giving rope to your team to choke themselves with. So is that the play? Just get these soldiers on a leash, beater? Or do you think just do better, lol?
I mean, I think it is pretty interesting to see that, yeah, Condog, he actually died one more time than June, but there's a drop in there. But he took significantly more damage, so he's playing more forward with his team, and you can definitely see that. So it always feels like he survives when he shouldn't have, whereas June is just playing safe and surviving because she's not putting herself in danger in the first place. Right? Like sort of more of the Seeds style. Yeah, it's definitely working out really well for Condog right now, being a little more aggressive. So maybe we can actually see them focus more on Condog, but then at the same time, I'm going like, no, that's what's been not working all day. Is focusing on Condog, and then he survives on 10 HP, and then you get rolled to last. Yeah, you just get better and hit him well.
Yeah, fair play, fair play. All right, Beta. So I think from just my past knowledge, I'm pretty sure TLR are very comfortable on Sunshine. So I'm going to assume that this is their map pick. I mean, if you have the actual stats in front of you, or if you are in the know out there Twitch chat, do call me out. But I believe that this is going to be their map pick. They should win this over on TLR and feel quite comfortable doing so. The fact they took it to that final round in the Viaduct map is kind of good news almost to TLR, but they still lost the map. What do you think is like? Do you think they're coming in this with a healthy attitude or a bad attitude?
I think they're a little bummed that they lost that, because they definitely could have won the map, right? You know, they had the tack pause and everything. That usually is a sign that you're frustrated or unhappy with something that you need to talk through. And then when it doesn't work out after you've talked about it, that could be a bit disheartening. But I think overall that they're not going to sweat it too much. I think the fact that they feel very comfortable on Sunshine, they know they won it already. Like, that is
4-0 as well. 4-0.
Yeah, 4-0. You know, just unassailable win. Absolutely. So I think they're going to be quite fine. I think they're going to feel very comfortable. And I could also see they had those very aggressive soldier mids, and Sunshine is usually pretty good for having those as well. Like you can send soldiers in pretty deep and then just run over the point and overwhelm teams really well here. So how that clashes with the more passive style of Verdes Liest Doof, only time will tell. But we're going live here, TurboTaps.
All right, if you're just joining us, yes, it is I, TurboTaps, alongside my buddy Beta and Dr. Underscore. We're bringing you Team Fortress TV's coverage of ETF2L. season Autumn 2023. It's the Grand Finals, baby! It's our second map. It's Sunshine, it's Last Resort, and it's Verdas liest doof. And already, Flick is the most forward man I see on the server, and he will go down, but he went down for a cause, Peter.
Yeah, both teams, they've pretty much just changed side on the mid right now. Gonna jump in very aggressively, and Matt is gonna get taken down. He got
the pipe.
Yeah, the random pipe finds the medic that June gets taken down. Sam's gonna jump in, doing his best to get the medic here. And Ryan, I think he wants to do the same thing here. Okay, eventually he just decides not to go for it. You see Flick, he's already an engineer, so they are kind of predicting that they're going to have to hold last. And I absolutely agree that that's what's going to end up happening here. So again, just the soldier aggression this time around didn't pan out for them. And Flick, being a bit too aggressive there, getting picked off that early, definitely came back to haunt them on that mid.
Yeah, Scouts very valued on these mid fights. So Flick going down, that's why you don't usually see Scouts going forward at least the first man out of the gate. But let's see, they can turn this around. I'm sure they've got a good defense as well as a good offense that they've shown. But this is unfamiliar territory. Usually they get a strong lead over on the Sunshine map. So that's how they deal on the defense. They will pop an Uber charge now, deal with the hidden sentry gun. That's taken down. Already Pandemic on that heavy weapons guy to kind of deal with this post-fight. They throw in a couple of soldiers to lay down some starting damage, but nothing really sticks so far. They can't really get some solidified damage on the heavy weapons guy either. He's chunking away at people, and Philip will at least get a window kind of leaving kill before he rejoins his team back at second point. It's a failed push, Peter.
It is a failed push. They were unable to deal with the Pandemic heavy in time. He got down pretty weak, but some nice arrows there from Jude. Gonna take them down. The fact that he managed to get Flick there with a pipe at the very last moment is gonna definitely delay this push and make it a lot more difficult. And right now, they just need to get up on this high ground, and that's gonna mean that TLR is gonna be in a very good fighting chance to actually take this second point. They do still have the Uber ad, but it is diminishing as the second goes by here. But looks like the Germans decide not to go in for it. And they're just gonna settle back here on mid with Uber ad. Pretty comfortable position to be in, and they can now think, what are we going to do here to get maybe an Uber out of June? What can we do to get some space? Can we pick up some players somewhere maybe? They have a lot of opportunities and possibilities here for them to go with.
I do see a lot of lasts won on this map by just taking second really well. And these are the sorts of situations where someone could wipe on second and then they take the last follow-up. So this is still some hope in the hearts of Verdas liest doof, even though they lost that sort of last push there. So let's see what they got cooking. They have got midpoint. The onus is on them to do something. So let's see if they have any sort of set plays and anything cute maybe for the final.
Yeah, it looks like right now they're content to just do a lot of pressuring, but actually it's going to end up being Philip going down. I was going to say that Sam's was being pressured really hard, and oh my god, TLR tried to walk through the choke, but the soldier spam is real, just perfectly hits everything trying to go through that choke, and TLR is just immediately going to say, nope, not want to do that. Just get out of there, reset, go back, heal back up, and we're back here to square one. And let's see, look at that, KN Sniper again. It's got a plan. Just going to snipe his way into everyone's hearts and win Prem.
Yeah. It does it all. It's like a 3-in-1 shampoo. It just does it in every single sort of conceivable way. And let's see if you should use it as much as a 3-in-1 shampoo, or if it's just not as good as the split thing. Oh no, it's actually pretty good. This is some pretty good sniping. Starting off his team, taking out Zams is a valuable kill. More almost as valuable as like getting a med kill at this stage.
Yes.
Oh my! Almost got a med kill.
Yeah, I'm not sure how Voxtic got up onto that fence here, but Soda in very deep here on the sniper. Takes him down. Fiskov goes down as well. This is the Uber, and Condor still hasn't used it at all. They got the Uber Force out of June. So now it's just, I think they're going to wait for the respawners and then Uber in with the ad here. But they're getting pressured in really hard as Madness. He's up here on the church. Looks like Ryan's going to join him. And oh my god, they lose Philip again. These demo men just cannot catch a break, and Condor is taking so much damage. I think he might just have to pop here in a very passive position.
I'm sorry, Peter. I didn't pay attention to any of that because the Twitch chat made me laugh. I'm not implying KN doesn't wash his hair. I'm sure he has lovely hair. Continue.
Alright, okay. See, this is why I never read Twitch chat. It'll only bring you trouble. Absolutely bring you down. Flick is behind lines. You can see 2 players are respawning, so they want to not get picked off here. Okay, they are gonna get just rotated back with them here. Flick.
They see him. The Shocky finally say, "Oh my god!" They actually trade shots between both of them. There's lightning fingers between the both, and yeah, it's just this dealing with Flick. You don't really want to deal with him whilst you're pushing, so you're just gonna kind of keep things on shutdown until somebody addresses him. And Flick, he's not gonna make this easy for them. So predict this is gonna be a long time part of our sort of defending stage.
Yeah, and if any of you guys are wondering why don't they just send back some players to deal with him, well, if they do that, they're gonna leave a hole in their flank in the front. And then they can get overwhelmed there. So you don't want to commit too hard to taking down Flick. However, looks like he is gonna begin making some moves here. Like Shocky is keeping a watchful eyes at all times just to make sure that he doesn't sneak his way in here. But Flick, oh, it's gonna take a pretty fat rocket there. Gonna go back here, and it's just gonna be a good old 1v1. Looks like Shocky is winning it so far. And
It's
Flick
gonna be 1v none. Yeah, get out of there. 1v health pack. As I guess they could throw one player in during all this chaos. KN is kind of fishing. They've chosen another side to come in. Vox does get kind of picked off during all that chaos, and Flick is causing pressure. They finally get him, but when all these players turn around, everyone's brought down pretty low, and Corndog is scratching his head. What's my team doing?
Yeah, just caught in a bit too deep. Soldier lands right at his feet. And that's going to be that. It's actually only 30 seconds until this is a round reset. So if neither team manages to get some time on the point, then that's going to be that. Actually, Pandemic catches a Christmas ornament to his face. It tis the season, but not exactly what you want to have happen. But the Germans, they're going to have to retreat and let this mid-cap go.
Yeah, they are going to cap this out. It isn't one of those sort of sudden death things where it will stop as soon as it gets to the timer. They'll let the other team cap, so they will continue this. It's basically like a sort of soft 1 mid-fight, and they have an uber charge to boot. They're already pushing into second, and Verdasti's Doof kind of want to give it up already, and I don't blame them. Do they want to give it up? Excuse me, Shocky wants to commit in. I don't like this at all. I'm vetoing this in like some spiritual sense. KM goes down, and now they want to play the backout game. Ugh.
Yeah, this is not pretty at all. They actually might get caught here in the lower area. Okay, they do manage to sneak their way out just in time. You don't want to just get spammed out there and have to force on nothing. But Pandemic is just in already. He's so deep. They're putting time on the point.
Yeah, there's no off classes, and there's nothing prepared for this last defense. They finally got some respawners now, but they're throwing a lot of TLR people into the basket. Finally, they pop off this Uber charge, but 3 TLR players were down during all this. The worst enemy of TLR seems to be TLR Beta.
That was really funny exchange, actually, because both teams lost so many players trying to milk their Uber, and then when they finally popped their Uber, half their team was dead and they had to retreat. So neither team really making good use of their Ubers there. But that will favor the defending team for sure. And they're going to be able to hold on to last and not lose around and not big here. Shock is going to go back to Engineer, set up some sentry guns. And looks like Pandemic's going to be some sniper this time around. Yeah, played around a lot.
Sniper. He was holding his own on the Viaduct map. I think he just decided to switch off it earlier. His team was yelling at him just that little bit louder than KM team was. So let's see. First shot is the most important on any sniper class. You got that kind of surprise factor. I mean, as much as you can surprise a team that can spy check your ass, but c'est la vie.
Yeah, it's difficult. He was trying to edge in there to get a cheeky headshot maybe, but obviously you can't headshot a sentry gun, so it's a rough deal trying to snipe into that. And actually we have the good old KN on shotgun. We've seen this from Asunas. Actually, this one's going to get picked off here, but Asunas was playing shotgun on last as well, and now KN is doing it too. I kind of like seeing this. This is a good way to use your loadouts on last.
Damn.
More people should do this.
Yeah, but I think soldiers have played with that shotgun for so long. I've unbinded my second key. Have you?
You've just crafted all of the.
I don't think I even opened the inventory menu. I don't think that's even supported in my HUD.
Yeah. You just remove the second slot. Just put your gun bows there. And make it work out.
I just thought you could maybe change what kind of boots you wore. I didn't think it was a gun slot.
True. Pandemic still hasn't hit anything, and we don't have any banners or anything. That's instead of a shotgun, a lot of teams will go banner as well. Sunshine Last is a pretty good place to go banner. You have Soldiers in very aggressively. As always, Philip is being focused down pretty heavily here, but he's going to survive this time around. It's actually going to be Fiskov that ends up getting the short end of the stick and gets focused down. You know, if you can't get anything significant, well, then get the enemy Roma, I suppose. And yeah, the Germans, they don't really want to push out on this. Normally, you'd have maybe 2 soldiers bomb out and try to do something about this, but obviously Fiskov died, so can't do that.
The storyline of this game so far, or at least this map, is very good for the liest doof. If you were 4-0 previous time and now you're taking the team to like 18 minutes, 0-0, even pushing them all the way to last at points, you've got to feel like you've made progress and some sort of like headway on this map. And if you're TLR, you're probably frustrated.
Yeah, it feels like banging your head against the wall in these situations. They're going to jump in the soldier pretty deep now, but Matt just finds a sticky trap and a pipe as well. Pandemic, unable to really get enough space to get in there properly. Sniping into Sunshine Last is not easy. You just see how close this sentry gun is. So on that stairwell, you can't get in there as a sniper. So now you're limited to lower, which is really easy to spam as a soldier. You can see Fiskov doing it constantly, and then that just leaves over on the left side, and it's very difficult to get in deep enough to get a proper sight line in to get to where the medic is. Right, there's like a giant pillar in the way.
There's even this little bonus factor that not many people talk about, but it's just like inherent in TF2's games. Like, it's always been there, but just this ability that you can keep spamming it off forever and then just pick up infinite ammo from this dispenser.
Yeah, oh, Soda's in really deep. Got in there very fast, just jumped right into the sentry gun. Good try, actually, but Kondak wasn't quite standing next to it, so unable to get those rockets onto him. And I think liest doof has just decided to let the timer run out. They're completely content to just sit here. And Box, he's just going to spy check and spawn, see if there's any weird things going on. We've seen KN go heavy quite a lot into these last points. For some reason, whenever the chips or the stakes are the highest, people just go heavy into last on offense. It's just been a thing throughout all TF2 history, but here comes the Uber exchange out. Both scouts going to be juggled a lot. They do take down the sentry gun.
Early pop. Yeah, I don't know why they really need to pop there. Maybe nerves a bit, but now this Uber charge is a little bit useless. They've swarmed in on TLR quite freely, should I say. And they've got so much time capture point. Philip has to stand on and... Oh, what a awful Uber charge, really, to respond with. They could have really used that for that last sort of push from TLR. And credit to them, they switched round quick, Peter.
Yeah, that was basically a pop push, and it just worked out super well for TLR. That was a really great Uber for them. They took down Voxtech in the Uber, or at least while the Uber was going on, and then the V-push came in. Yeah, I think you're right. It was just a way too early pop there from Condor. You should have milked that way more. Just let the sentry gun die and absorb that up. But we have another mid here. Still 16 minutes to go. Plenty of time here to come back for the Germans. We have soldiers in the skybox already, TurboTap. What do you see?
I see Ryan is landing on the ground all dead and buried. They will completely rotate sides. Already trying to capture second before they capture mid on TLR. A bit kind of aggressive from that one scout. I think that's Shocky. He will go down. Flick finds him and they have a... It's justification to keep pushing in, but where do you go if you...
back cap.
Back cap? Front cap? A regular cap? Whatever you want to call it. They actually pile up onto it now, but they're going to get onto the point before they do that, and they've just set up a pincer in themselves, and I don't know, even if they got that second capture, it would delay, yeah, but it wouldn't really lead to much, I think.
Condog died on 99% even. The most tragic feeling in all of TF2. Feels so bad. That is rough, as this whole play just did not work out. Shocky getting picked off just in that 1v1 against Flick. Just absolutely have ripples into the future. And it's crits on Condog. He's done this so many times.
Man, I don't know what moment has happened in Condog's life where he believes in this crits on last in these dire situations, but I need to see it. and because I just don't have the same sort of faith. Anyway, they've used the Uber charge now straight in. The sentry guns on the other side, however, will get cleaned up finally now. Shockey wants to come back as heavy weapons guy, but actually gets cleaned up rather quickly. He's debating whether or not to come back as heavy a second time. They lose the pyro on point.
Oh, here comes the crits
comes
though.
out. Is this the moment we've all been waiting for, Condog? It is not.
Alright, okay, you know what, actually, the crit speed, it was better than nothing there, to be honest. That crit speed could have killed everyone, so I'm not even mad at the crit speed. It was just not quite enough there on that push. And again, just it's Philip getting picked up really early in these situations that make it so much more difficult for the Germans to hold last.
Yeah.
Now they're down 2-0 already. And
I'm going to do it, Beta. I'm going to pick on your favourite player in the whole world. I think Shockey kind of beefed this entire round for his team, because not only did he kind of come back at the wrong door as the heavy weapons guy, but he was the first one to kind of overextend himself and start this entire charade.
you take those scandalous words back. All of them.
Never. Alright.
We've got both soldiers jumping in. And looks like, oh my god, what a pipe from Philip. Takes down Flick, finds that, and then June gets taken down by KN as well. This is looking like a great mid so far. Just a matter of can they actually keep Condog alive? Looks like the answer is yes, but Pandemic, he wants to get his face in there. Unable to do so though. And yeah, Sam's neither can he.
That's a long respawn. Might have ripples here in the Great Tapestry as they're just capping off mid slowly, trying to already rush people to the second point. I think he will be back in time and he will have those stickies up in place for a last. But this is good news for the liest doof as they need some rounds on the board. Take that cushion and that safety away from TLR.
It's worth noting that this isn't the first time that liest doof have been behind 2-0 with not very long time left to go. As they've come back from those already.
Oh my!
Today. Oh no! Philip gets immediately taken down by the sentry gun. They do get Sams as well though. So both demo men getting picked off. This could be a fight.
The heavy weapons guy. No one is there to really deal and address with him. And finally, enough soldier spam will pop it off. But can you fight an Uber charge as well as Beta? After all of this, there's just too much. But I mean, they are still alive. Shockey wants to go back in, but they're going to have respawners back again for TLR, and they're all buffed up and healthy. And yeah, it's too rich for my blood. They will finally back out the second.
It's definitely been a big problem for them that they've been unable to really capitalize on these Uber advantages. And it's very unfortunate that Philip just jumping a bit too far forward, getting caught out by the sentry before Condor can get to him, just dies. That's basically the push dead. Always in these Uber pushes. Okay, they might actually go in here. They do have a 25% Uber ad, and they are actually going to do that. And they immediately put time onto the point there with the scouts. Oh my god, Shockey gets bombed to oblivion. And that's so much for that Uber ad. They actually get some kills here, but this is looking rough as Condog is unable to escape.
I guess they wanted that shock value, getting that Uber charge really soon, but it was pretty much telegraphed. They knew that they had an Uber charge to deal with, and I think the best hope that they had was they had that sentry gun taken out, and maybe Condog just did not want to die to a sniper, popped off really early, but Pandemic was looking at a completely different door. It was in a realm of possibility to just keep going with that and just get in for 3 as they did.
That soldier jumps in very aggressively. Scouts are in as well. This is just like a full-on retreat. Oh my god. Somehow Shockey survives that, but Vox is not going to be as lucky.
KN's got too much on his plate. I say he's got too much on his plate. Almost takes out 2 players on his own, and that draws enough attention from June to kind of keep Zams alive at the choke area. They're back in it, baby. Let's go.
Yeah, just not refusing to give it up, but oh my god, Condog, he is not even close to having Uber here. So
Philip, he's not dying. The sword
gets beheaded. But I mean, that's definitely worth it here. They can still just go in with his Uber and make sure his mid doesn't get capped.
Yeah, the respawners are on the side. Philip's going to be back, and he's basically back in the fight in about 6 seconds time. So with this, they will back off. They've got Condog on this Uber charge, and they don't want to wipe on second because it looks like they do believe and know that they have a strong last defense, so they keep it just nice and cool and collected, backing off. They look like they might even give up this second point. over on TLR. Oh, are they? They're actually throwing in a soldier resistance against Corndog, and they won't find the force, but will delay some time.
A pretty decent effort there by Ryan. Unable to get onto the second rocket onto Condor, but I think it's just slowed everything enough down that June's going to be able to hold on to the Uber without getting too fussed about it. They are going to put some pressure in here. You can see KN is in pretty deep. Might actually get the soul.
Zams has gone down? How is that even possible? The Uber charge hasn't even come out yet. Philip does go down during this. They're getting cap time. The sentry gun hasn't even been killed yet.
Oh, so much cap time. Oh
they've actually popped off the Uber to block it. They switch off on the sentry gun, even though it did absolutely nothing and took 0 damage. They're just trying to push people off the point, and it works. They get around on the board beater.
Yeah, that was crazy. Just the pressure again. We've seen this earlier today. It just seems like the Germans, they're so good at just doing these dry pushes where it's just the tiny advantage where they have like maybe a one-man advantage or some health advantage, that kind of stuff. And they just make it work really well for some reason. Philip actually takes a lot of damage there from Sam. Sam's just definitely winning the demo duel early on in this mid.
Alright, a lot more aggression coming out from the Germans this time round. I say this, so they actually try to go to different edges of the map and don't want to go aggressive, boyfriend bomb it up. And now it's kind of just 5 East 5, and 4 versus 5, I should say. KN is probably going to be the next casualty to go down, still alive and kicking, throwing out some good damage, but the rest of his team, they're out of there.
Yeah, it gets picked off. If they didn't know he was there, maybe he would have had a shot to get onto it, but yeah.
Ooh, trap. Could have maybe got somebody from TLR there. Philip really far forward. Doesn't get punished, however. If there was a jumping soldier with his name on it, I think that would have been curtains for the second point. Fishkoff might go down. They're still in like sort of a limelight here over on Verdastistas Doof. They're making me very nervous here, Beta, but they hold. What do I know?
Yeah, when things almost goes wrong, it means they've gone right, you know, because that almost is in there. That was very close. So many players almost getting taken down, but Philip, Fishkoff, Shockey, they all managed to just dodge just the right amount of damage while dealing enough damage to make this work out. And it looks like they want to send in maybe another soldier. Like, Fishkoff definitely did a round there, little loop-de-loop, see what was what. And again, they're just pushing off of nothing. This is not a real advantage.
Zero respect. They're just, walking in. I think in trusting that KN is going to cause enough disruption. And they fished out a Ryan kill because of that flank play. And these rocket soldiers are spamming them out. Another soldier's just out of the fight. TLR fighting a losing battle here. They will pop off the Uber charge, but they're capping during all of this. If they can get this capture point finished, they're going to get these respawners in the rest of the fight. KN back in. Fishkoff following up. A lot of damage, not really connecting, however, for Verdastistas Doof. There's even a crossbow coming out during all of this chaos. They do cap off the point, but what cost? Everybody is dead, and TLR hold.
Yeah, that was very close to working out for the Germans, actually. It was a pretty decent advantage they had right as the Ubers came in. But alright. But yeah, it kind of collapsed for them after that. Both their soldiers jumped in after the Uber, and they just didn't get enough done, and the team ended up losing the fight. So we have another classic Condog.
Somebody look at Condog's stock options or something, because this man must be investing in this Kritzkrieg. Like, he is really giving it the limelight.
He's so dead. He was so aggressively pushing out a blast there. And Philip going down as well.
A lot of people on the point, sharing point, however, they reset just in time over on TLR. I think they're in a very strong suit to kind of strong arm this point, but nobody dares stand on the point. They're going to get respawners eventually, TLR. You're going to have to get somebody on the stinking point. KN's back in the fight, immediately gets a kill to start things out, even opens out with a second kill. TLR just kind of pussyfooted around. There's no nice way of saying it, Peter.
Yeah, I think the problem was they had a medic and 2 combat classes against 3 combat classes, and that's just a difficult fight to win quickly. So they had to take it slowly, but unfortunately they didn't have time to do that, so it didn't work out for them in the end. Soldier's going to jump in here very aggressively onto June. and does end up taking her down, but both soldiers will get picked off, and it's just going to be Shocky and Condog left alive. So it's going to be 5 players against Shocky with a medic on him. How good is Shocky? Can he do this?
I mean, he's got crits.
I forgot it wasn't an Uber. It's a crit streak. Oh, that's tragic. 3-1 there.
I'm not going to be happy coming out of this grand final until you tell me that this crits is bad. That this crits decision is bad, because I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. I don't care that it pops off. You never get a successful crits off, it looks like.
The idea is that you're not going to have time to get an Uber anyway, so if you just
but there's some
get a
rare
crit streak,
times.
you're going to have it faster. But yeah, after he died, it does make sense to go crit streak on last. I don't think so.
Alright, another point. Oh my god, Philip was just kind of four-manned straight to the start, and Zams has to take it as well. We might as well just play without any demo met in this server, as everyone's just kind of exchanging. Shocky will take the 2v1 and will go down, however. June is gone during all that chaos, so it's now turned into a game of kind of tower defense instead. They're in the bunker, and they're trying to just stop anybody from jumping at Corndog, and they're going to take this fight collectively with all their health intact.
Yeah, there's still soldiers both in front and behind right now that they have to deal with. This is pretty uncomfortable if you're Condog. But obviously, you're in a situation where you have a big Uber at, so you will take the uncomfortableness that comes with it. Okay, Matt is going to try and see if he can get in behind at some point, but just keep in mind.
He's pretty slow, though. I think he's just out of the fight. I think they're going to keep going, and Matt still doesn't want to... I mean, I guess it would be too late if he just killed himself at this point and tried to come back to his respawning team. They've got an Uber charge. They can just push this in. 5v6. Matt is slowly jumping all the way back. Finally reconnects to his team. He's going to have some impact now. And, okay, no, he's immediately dead. Oh wait, no, he actually managed to weasel out, but there's not enough people to hear in the fight initially, and I'm pretty sure I think Matt being behind lost them that round.
Yeah, he was not in the fight at all for all of that. So it's kind of the classic trying to make a play behind, but just being stuck too far to ever be impactful enough. And that's going to be 3-2 still in favor of Tila here, but it's 2.5 minutes roughly. So you can still come back here if you're the Germans. Takes about 1 minute and 20 seconds or so to cap out a round.
Boyfriend bomb on the first sort of opposing soldier, but these soldiers and Demo are just, oh god, TLR really blobbing up and focusing fire really well at this point, and yeah, I think this is almost curtains for the rest of this map, because I think if with 2 minutes left, you've got to round up. You're in the grand final. You're going to have to be hands off the keyboard if you want to lose at this point, Peter.
Well, you say that, but Condog is still alive with an Uber, so anything can happen. They can take this Uber exchange and then come back in with respawners, and they can take a decent fight. And once those happen, anything can happen.
Yeah, they didn't even push out a second. They clearly are setting up with a mindset of, like, we will slow down this game by any means necessary and play safe. They pop off an Uber charge, and they have to find June quick. They will respond with an Uber charge nice and early, but they lost KN during all the exchange. Condog is more than likely going to go down. They have to commit people in at this point. Vishkov knows what's up. He goes back in. He gets a kill as a Zams. They follow up with another pandemic kill as well. They could start believing in this. They're starting to believe, and they actually have to run June out to keep hopes alive for this round.
Yeah, it's a good fight to win. They do get that. However, losing your medic is super bad because now you're not going to have those Uber to last.
This crits, is that back out again?
Yeah. I mean, you're not going to have much time.
Actually, you're
you
right.
might get it just in time
I think
they get the Uber right.
I think this is the moment that I actually believe this is a pretty good crit. So, and if this is the moment to be had, this will be it. They're throwing KN already, however. I know they want to go aggressive and start things rolling quickly, but I mean, they still also need to, maybe just kind of take things one at a time a little bit.
Yeah, he definitely messed up there and got stuck on the wall where he didn't want to. So, yeah, I slightly overextended, slightly being unlucky.
Crits.
Here comes the crits. Soda's into distract.
Yep.
Oh, and they're just jumping in with players. Look at that. Actually, the scout crits is hitting kind of hard. As it's actually doing work. They have 17 seconds right now to get onto the second point. They can't go back and deal with people.
Oh my god, they've actually lost Flick during that, so they could fight on the second point. They're running to last, Peter, but there's only 6 seconds left. KN is already going towards last, but they can't cap second quick enough. And Corndog even trying to get back. It seems that TLR will win their map, but they win, not really in the same spirit that they did in their previous week game. And this is truly a grand final to be seen.
Yeah, so if you've been keeping track of the rounds, that makes it 5-5 in rounds overall. Both maps ended 3-2, just in opposite favors. And now we're going to Metalworks. This is the map that Vegas Doof won in Golden Cap. So who knows what we can expect on this one. I expect probably, I was going to say another 3-2, but maybe this is Metalworks, so maybe a 2-1 or 1-0, something slow like that. But it is anyone's game. It's come down to this one final map to see who's the final victor of the season. Oh my god, it's going to be crazy here.
Yeah. All right. The good, the bad, the ugly. What did you see, Peter? Tell me something good, tell me something that was bad, and tell me something that was just positively ugly about that game.
Well, Pandemic went 28-7, so he had an absolute monster game. Really well done by him. And then, Matt's 6-14. That's rough. But hey, his team won. So I don't know if I see anything ugly, really.
I know what's ugly. Being a demo man in this stinking map. Every demos are just kind of dying at every mid-fight, at every sort of little exchange, and pushing last. These poor demo men cannot catch a break.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting. Might actually just be a really good idea to play them a little bit closer, and especially on Metalworks. Demo Man is so good on Metalworks. You don't want to leave them hanging, and it's pretty normal, actually, on this map to kind of have your medic run around with soldiers and scouts, and then just have Demo Man hold the tiny little doorway on his own. But we've seen a lot of times this season, and even today, where soldiers will just go very aggressively in through that little door, and if the demo doesn't dead perfectly, or even if he does dead it perfectly, then the scout just comes in and two-shots him after that if he's too close. So maybe you want to try to limit those plays quite a bit if you can help it, and just keep him closer to your medic and nicely topped off. Because I really have this opinion that Demo Man is just so crucial on Metalworks.
All right, Bisa. It's Metalworks. It's Metalworks mid, and there's roaming soldiers in this game. We've all been seeing those cool little nifty jumps where you can get straight onto the demo man straight away, and it does feel very oppressive. My research task for you is, do we have any of those kind of soldiers in the server right now? Or is this what the default mid is going to look like, or do these teams not really fly that boat?
I don't think we're going to see it too much in this game. I could see both Ryan and KN going for it, but I don't think so. Like, I don't think I've ever seen Fiskop do it. And, obviously KN is generally going to probably be running the stick to mid. But, yeah, you can just switch that around. But if anyone's going to do it, it's probably Ryan. And I don't remember seeing him doing it. So I would say no. We're just going to see soldiers in the skybox, doing that big wall jump and then either landing on top of the enemy's head, landing behind them, or landing back on your own side, depending on what you see. That's going to be much more likely. So maybe a passive mid, again, is what we're going to see, where both teams just wait it out a bit.
Now, obviously, it was a victory for the Liest doof on this Metalworks map, like you mentioned, but it was really close. And usually you learn a lot more from your losses than you do your victories. Do you think they've probably hit the books over on TLR? They've got some easy fixable things they can do on this map, or do you think this is just very much still going to be a German map and for TLR to punch up at?
No, I don't think it's going to be a German map. I think it's going to be completely even. It's just going to be on, like, are the Germans, are they exhausted at this point? Have they played too much? Are they just getting into the groove of things? Do they just still feel like it? I don't know.
That's a good point. It's almost Shocky's bedtime at this point. I mean, old man Shocky has to eventually put down the computer game. Thank goodness he didn't pick best of 5. But one more thing I want to touch on, Beta. It's the final map in a grand final settings. There's probably adrenaline flowing, and all those lessons that you learn from your scrims are going out the window, and you're just kind of like feeling things out a bit more. And and usually simple TF2 kind of rules the roost. Is that what it's going to be, or do you think things are looking still quite, layered here? Strategy heavy.
Yeah, like I'm trying to think of what I feel about these very aggressive pushes coming out of the Germans, where they just kind of push on nothing,
Yes, they do.
right? Like they haven't really worked out so far against TLR the way they did in the other matches. So maybe cut down on those quite a bit. But at the same time, Germans, they have played Metalworks today, and they were actually really good in the stalemate situations. Sending in Fiskov and KN worked out really well for them because they were just very consistently good at getting onto the enemy medic and dropping them or killing them. So maybe they just play it more for those kind of stalemates and trust that they have the playmaking ability to make it work out in their favor that way, as opposed to going for the team fights where they slowly etch out these tiny advantages that snowball as they just slowly move forward and gain ground. Yeah, maybe that's my main takeaway so far, but yeah, I think it's just gonna come down to who drops, who has a good game, who's just executing better on the day, because I don't think you can point to a team and say they're clearly better.
And KN, we saw a little bit of sniper earlier, but he kind of put it down for the majority of that 5CP map. Is that it now? Have we put away the sniper rifle for this game, or do you think they're still going to go to that last little trump card in a map like Metalworks?
I think we're going to see some sniper, both out of Pandemic and KN, to be honest, maybe even Voxtech, just going into last. This is Metalworks. We're going to be stuck from us in a second to last area quite a bit. If we don't, that would be weird. It would be the first time ever. And sniping into Metalworks last is pretty decent. You can make a lot of work happen there. There's some areas that's very difficult to hold without getting into a sniper sideline. So it's pretty easy to get a demo or a soldier pick that way, and then you can work off of that and get a force out and just play by ear after that. So yeah, I expect to see some sniper going into last, and we've also seen KN obviously run heavy. I just thought about that because he's literally running around his heavy right now. But he also, on these maps, has had a tendency to run heavy into last. And you can do these Uber exchanges and then go back out, come back in with a heavy. And it's just going to be like two teams holding last almost. It looks kind of funky.
Yeah, it is very strange to see. I'm still the jury's out in my court whether or not I like that. And it's been around, but it's kind of getting a bit more traction, a bit more flavor, at least in these last playoffs. And it doesn't look too hot right now. Maybe I've not seen it like completely work. What I have seen work and what I really like, and what seems Verdasti still love doing, is this whole focusing the cap. And that last capture is kind of tricky. It's got the tiny small box where you could just like push people up in the air. And I saw them do it a little bit earlier today over on their playoff game, the Germans, and I could see that almost being like a staple play if they get it down to a T.
Yeah, it is pretty interesting, right? That if you have some players on the point and you have a few stickies, or just like at the moment lobbing stickies in there, or soldiers shooting the point, then if you just bounce players up a little bit, then you can just cap it out yourself. Definitely, if you get enough point time initially, then you can just dive players onto the point, and that can be enough pressure to cause the enemy team to have to scramble on there and get themselves in a position where they just get spammed out really easily and you win. So, yeah, worth keeping an eye on for sure.
All right, Beta. I know I was delaying a bit more time, put a bit more tournament in this tournament, but I was just delaying for all these players that are having cigarettes and just having little kind of breaks. They're probably putting on a quick rocky soundtrack to kind of hype themselves up before their final match here in this ETF2L season. So if you're going to be in any locker room right now, and who do you think is going to win? Who do you think's the champion team right now?
I'm gonna keep going with my heart and saying the Germans are gonna take this. I thought they looked pretty good so far on Metalworks, so I think KN's gonna carry them to glory. and Fitzkoff's going to be an ETF2L champion. My dream will come true. It's going to happen, TurboTav. What do you think?
I mean, I do love a meme, and there are a lot of meme-centered players here. So I'm gonna go up with a counter meme, and I'm gonna say that Flick is gonna be this is his championship. This is where he comes back in. He's gonna walk into Poland with an ETF2L gold hanging from his neck.
Yeah, can you imagine how insufferable he's gonna be if he wins this?
Everything will be forgiven from Arcadia. This is he's literally attacking Germany right now. This is how he gets his kicks right back at them. If you're just joining us, I'm TurboTav. Joining me is Beta and Dr. _. We're Team Fortress TV, and we're bringing you the final map, the grand final of ETF2L's autumn season. It's the last resort versus this doof, and already these two demo men have got different philosophies about rolling out to mid, Beta.
Yeah, no fast soldiers, just as we predicted here. As it looked like it's gonna be Fiskov and KN jumping in first, not getting too much done, but also not getting picked off. Voxtech, however, will be the first victim here, as the positioning is definitely favoring TLR so far. Kondog is very weak as well, so I don't think they're going to be able to get it back in here onto mid, but if anyone overextends here for TLR, it could turn around very quickly. But looks like just going to be a mid retreat here, as a single pick's going to be the difference that does everything here for them.
Behold, Twitch chat, I'm going to make you an expert TF2 analytical mind. I just want you to count how many scouts there are on these mids, and you've got more of them, you're probably going to win the mid. There you go, you're already right up there in the analytical world. So, because TLR had more of those, they kind of scared off the rest of Verdastis stuff from kind of keeping the mid fight up, so they will kind of give this up for now, but still filling each other out. It's still very, very calm game.
Yeah, all right, we got the first soldier. I was waiting for the second soldier to come bombing in, but Matt is nowhere to be found. It's just going to be Ryan on the solo bomb in. We'll find nothing here, as everyone else now is moving forward. Going to take Valley now with Kondog moving in here, healing his team very aggressively. It's just going to be a matter of, can they find that one opening that they want? The Germans, they're picking and prodding, but the high ground advantage is definitely favoring TLR once again. This is basically the situation we saw at the end of the mid fight, right? It's just one player down on the opposite side, and there's just nothing to be found there. Really good hold from TLR. Taking it easy, don't overextend, don't jump a soldier into them, just take it nice and slow, get the good spam in, make sure you're ready if anyone jumps. And they just ride out the storm and they're ready to go for another play.
I do wonder if the Germans have a sort of outlook on from map to map. Maybe they just feel like they can't dry push as much as like a map, say, Metalworks. I mean, I say this in the same breath, Shocky and Fishkoff are going for a flank play, almost get the pick off into Matt, but they instead have to turn around and deal with kind of Ryan that fell into their arms.
Yeah, Ryan again goes for this single play. It seems kind of weird that it's just Ryan
it's
being
just
sent in there.
It's just safe. They're just playing super, super, super safe on both of these teams, and you know, little
Ken
risk.
survives that. Okay, did a big speed jump in there. Somehow managed to survive it. Philip hits the big pipe. Flick went down pretty weak as well, but unfortunately, neither Fiskov nor KN was healthy enough to jump in. But KN, he's going to come in now. Let's see if Fiskov will follow suit soon enough.
Flick, brought down low, can't quite finish them off. They will get a counter pipe onto KN.
Kondog's weak. Oh no, he gets sniped down. Oh, that's tragic. He was so weak then. Just that long range sticky from Sam was just close enough there to get the drop out of him. Kondog didn't want to pop there. Don't blame him for that, but he turned his back to the enemy team and he couldn't see what was coming his way and he ended up dropping.
Yeah, there was just no scout to finish off Flick during all of that. Otherwise, I think it might have turned around just a little bit better if they had that sort of starting domino to kind of continue the fight with. So, credit to Zams finding a pipe that kind of gives your team a bit of solace and rest, and even more kind of credence to getting that Kondog pick as well. That is probably going to be round winning and maybe even map winning at this rate.
Yeah, they're going to Uber in here. The Shocky Pyro does delay it a bit and actually survives. Yes, oh my god, Fiskov and KN both getting really key
The
picks
stick!
Yeah, June not going to be able to get out. Okay, she is going to be able to get out. Wow, I was 100% sure she was just caught in there when I saw those stingies.
If that was old Demo Man Beta, if it was our Demo Man back in the day,
dead meat.
Yeah, it just instantly vaporized.
Yeah, those were mini nukes. There was no.
Oh my god,
no
it
chance.
was scary. You had them off running out. Anyway, which goes back to the second point. TLR have actually got an Uber charge to deal with. They're going to be a bit shell-shocked by this, as it's completely caught Zams by surprise. They go for a back cap attempt instead, but they've just been pincered effectively. They've got no Uber charge of their own to kind of deal with the rest of the people blocking off this last point. This isn't their first rodeo beat, so they're not going to get back cap today.
No. Metalworks, as hard as it is to push out of it, it's relatively easy to cover all of your entrances on Metalworks compared to some other maps. And yeah, great job there by the Germans to definitely do that really well. And they're getting ready to come in around to mid, and yeah, you can just see Matt is like, no, I don't want to go for anything here. As KN, actually goes for the medicine.
KN gets the kill. Did not see that coming. Goes for the pie high jump in the sky, and I think even kind of syncing up rockets a little bit. I wasn't quite a believer in the jump, and neither was TLR. They actually do find the kill onto June, completely surprised. And now Condog, you just need to not die, and I think it will look pretty good.
All right, so you're trying to jinx him super hard right now. I can see it, but
whatever he needs to do, he just needs to not die right now in this moment of TF2.
Yeah, just
okay. There we go.
Yeah, don't step on a sticky. Don't get hit by a sync rocket. Don't have a scout two-shot you from behind. It'll all be fine. June's on 40%. There's a long time until she has anything to show. Yeah, that could scare them at all. Look like there's gonna be a flank push coming in. Soldiers can definitely jump in, create a lot of space, but this is also where you can get jumped very easily. Like a double soldier coming into this narrow side, it's so easy to get it forced out of here. But looks like Condog has made it in pretty damn deep without getting punished.
He's been hit with a bauble, so we didn't call that one out. So
my bad.
He didn't cast a curse in that way. I guess it's just writing his own timeline here. But the threat of the Uber charge alone is enough to push out the rest of TLR, and they're in a good position to keep following up here. Keep in mind, they've got no sentry gun to deal with, so that is maybe reason enough, at least for a team like Verdasti's Doof, to go for this last. They've pushed off a lot of people on this last point already. Condog trying to get on top of Shocky will save him in time, but they've lost quite a few players already. 2 soldiers left. Not really the happiest sort of combat classes you want to leave at last point. The class that damages itself defending the last point.
There we go. That was actually a really great Uber. KN got those 2 early kills very well, and then Condog just had perfect flashes. Perfectly saved Shocky, perfectly flashed Voxic as he was about to take damage. They were quite healthy. The repush was great. Really well done there. And you can credit a lot of players, but I'm going to just give all the credit to Condog there for the great Uber. Going to be 1-0 here for the Germans. They were kind of on the ropes. It wasn't looking pretty for them early on, but 8 minutes back and forth, and they ends up with a point for them.
Yeah, Zam was just a little bit quicker, but not really enough time to abuse such time. Matt not committing in fully with the jump, just wants to kind of bait things out, keep the scouts on their toes, but their toes are firmly on some high ground and kind of the point right now. And it looks like between the ground, it's whether or not these demo men can connect with their damage. Oh my god, speaking of connecting, Philip will get the some good damage to lay down the ground for the Germans, and this is good, Beta. They've taken around and they've taken mid. This has got to be worrying for TLR.
Yeah, Condog once again dodging a lot of damage there. You can kind of see he didn't build very well because he was so busy dodging, but you know, when you send in soldiers to get Condog and he doesn't die, you're going to have an advantage on this mid. They're going to get second. They don't know whether Condog has an Uber or not here on TLR, so it's going to be a last hold, and it's going to be kind of interesting. Okay. I mean, he just believed in himself.
I mean,
so hard right there.
It's fine, you know. Sentry gun confirmed, team. It's okay, and now we can get an off class. I'm a genius, says Fishkoff.
Yeah, he has time for a banner right now. Actually, they're going to jump KN back. He's going to go sniper. All right. We do see it right now, and I do like this. We've seen KN play sniper here on Last before, and last time this happened, I think he just opened the shutter door and instantly sniped the enemy demo. So
Pandemic.
let's do that again.
He's playing sniper as well, and I wasn't quite paying attention to the classes, but I assume that somebody was class checking during all that. Someone dies in the game of TF2, you outlast, you can't help yourself, you have a little class check. So KN, still first shot is kind of memorable. Let's see if I can find his point of view. There we go. Oh no, it doesn't quite find anybody to shock with this first sniping, but it does click that.
Just stands on the sticky trap. All right, but yeah, like sniping into this last is kind of fine, just because you see that hut over on the left side of the last point. We actually have a pause right now, so this is a good time to talk about it. As you see that left hut where a soldier usually has to stand so they can spam down on that little door there. That's in view of the sniper if he stands inside of lobby, right? So you can walk players in on that left side, and then if there's a soldier there to contest you, then you can snipe him. So you can put a lot of pressure on in that way.
But it is so telegraphed that Zams even had a custom sticky trap just for that. I mean, maybe not for that sniper, but still a pretty good one that hits that sort of base.
Yeah, I didn't see what the sticky trap was. It might have been one of the boilers or something. Yeah, K didn't see that one. He's going to get taken down. And I expect Pandemic to maybe peek out a little bit, see if you can get a cheeky peek to get a drop or something. All right, you never know. Maybe Condog's an idiot and just goes, "Ooh, what's out here?" and then just gets his head taken off. Right, but at the very least, like probably or something. To look at it.
Okay, Beta, I'm going to look into my crystal ball, an actual just kind of metaphoric crystal ball. I'm not going to cheat here, but we've got a team that likes to do kind of tactical pauses in TLR. We're on last of TLR. It's come out. Obviously, the pauses happen in real time, but this is so many seconds into the future. Do you see where I'm coming at here? Do you think?
Yeah, you're metagaming this. Yes.
I am metagaming this, but do you think this is like the case, or is this just like a bad? Is this bad news? Is 2 rounds a death sentence in a grand final setting, or?
No, it's never. I've seen so many comebacks today from 2-0 down that I'm not even worried about it. Not when there's this much time. Even if you're completely correct, there's still going to be like 18 or 19 minutes remaining in the map once they cap it out. So yeah, and also I don't like to speculate ahead like this. Like I don't like metagaming. It could be anything.
Oh, I love a metagame. I need to entertain myself somehow during all this pausing. And God, if I get bored enough that I start looking at hats, I need to just end it.
Yeah, I was gonna say, why can't you just be like a normal person and just look at some hats?
Oh, I hate that. When the producers do that, No, he's doing it right now, isn't he?
Dr. Underscore is feeling very, very targeted right now. He's like, I'm in this conversation, I don't like it. Okay, the pause is over. So
back
Dr.
to the gameplay, cut out the hats.
Yeah. Alright, okay, so we've got another sneaky. Okay, I think we figured out where this sticky trap was. It was on that little pillar in the corner right there. Yeah, that makes sense. Alright, it's KN. He is not.
He's mad. He's mad at that spot. He knows. Yeah. He's not gonna fall for it twice. Shame.
Like, I see you now. Might just get the double sword bomb. It's actually worked out.
I mean, he's done this before. He's like dropped somebody with things like this, and the sentry gun's just kind of propelling him up. Oh, they actually get the kill on to Philip with the sniper, so that's kind of awkward. As now they have to defend second point with 2 scouts. I'm not sure if that's even possible.
Yeah, this is so unfortunate because the main thing about pushing out from this last point is that little tiny door gets spammed so easily, but scouts just don't spam it well. Shocky, however, will get a pick onto Ryan. They're actually going to use the Uber here. They don't want to give it up for free, so now they're just going to rely on the respawners to come in.
This is good. This is pretty good, actually, because Shocky did get a kill onto something during all this. Foxy is going all the way back to last.
Oh, he's just on last?
The cap point. A cap team beater. Why get kills when you can get cap? And I metagamed it. We're here. We're at 2-0.
Yeah, and I'm going to go ahead and say this is a flick pausing and just screaming at everyone. Just absolute screeching here.
And after you said Beto, it's so easy to push out and not be back capped on this map.
Goes to show what I know, right? Yeah, it's a good job by Boxstick there. He had to go through someone to get behind like this. That's a very confrontational jump in there from KN. Shock is actually going to go down. Madness gets air shot on it in. hits Philip in return. Like, how dare you? It's basically getting hit by a glove and then just hitting them right back with your own glove, right?
Yeah, just everyone kind of coming out with some little shots and cute little plays. I thought it might have been a bit stacked against TLR as I saw some inhumane directs, but those sorts of long-range directs don't really mean much in a game of TF2, sadly. The harder shot usually yields the least damage.
Very true. So they're going to have an Uber going into this last, but they are going to be faced with another Uber themselves, and Ryan will get taken down there by Fishcom. Ooh, both soldiers actually doing some really nice work here. It's just going to be a soldier and a demo man trying their best to hold down these two doorways, and it's pretty doable to get someone out here if you really want to. You see Philip, he's forward, he's pressuring this, and then you have Shocky running in from lower, and then Fishcom is ready to jump as well.
It took too long. Everybody's back in the respawn.
Oh, you say that? Oh, June could definitely have been popped there. KN missed the rocket. Rare sight, but it can happen. So it goes for the play. Just when everyone let down their guard, he jumps in.
Oh, they want to go in already. There's no sentry gun to deal with. I say this. Shocky's trying to build it really quickly, but it's not committing in doing much to the fight right now. Philip goes down. That's really scary if you're on the side of Verlastis Doof. They do have this heavy weapons guy. Flick kind of ran in really ahead of his team. His team doesn't look like they want to push in. That maybe scared of the heavy weapons guy. I'm pretty sure Flick is going to be screaming at his team now.
Yeah, you could tell he really wanted to put pressure onto that point. He knew as soon as the demo man went down, it's going to be very difficult for people to hold the point there. The sentry wasn't forward like it is now either. So I think his idea was to put pressure onto the point. It's going to push everyone forward, and then they're going to be easy cleaned up fodder going into this. And I see two spies on the field, and I'm pretty sure they're both in spawn. Oh, no.
Flick
is out of spawn.
Grand final spy. You don't see it much, but when you do see it, I've never seen it work, but let's see that it could work out. As it's good, everyone's agitated. Usually everyone is super high alert, really their principles are super strong because they care about it a lot, and then usually they'll remind you, Beta, you know, you've got nothing else to do at last. Everyone's just shooting out 5 million words a second. There's a spy, and Voxy already checking with the pyro.
Yeah, so Flick, he did go scout there. You know, he disguised as a friendly scout, showed himself, and then he's gonna go. Oh, but he's immediately been picked off. Oh my God, this chef's cooking. He knows exactly what's up.
I mean, I wish. I've got no words. All right, let's move on. Let's just move on. So Voxy rocking up the sniper again after a good hearty spy. I mean, who knows? Maybe he'll go spy again. No, okay, he's learned his lesson. So. There's an opportunity, a small little timing window that they could maybe try and go for some pick-offs on some people, but there's nobody really sharing their faces. They're all hanging outside like a really good principled boys and girls. So back to the timer game as we're playing, as the round reset is on the cards, Vita.
Yeah, and unfortunately at this point, you don't have enough time from TLR to actually send in soldiers and then go for a banner. You're not going to have the time, but hey, we have a double soldier bomb in. Both gets taken down by the sentry gun. Actually, that's 4 revenge crits if Shocky decides to go for it. We might see something sneaky like that.
I think he's rocking the regular shotgun.
Yeah, but you can still go in and change. You can actually...
Can you?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, I'll be damned. I thought you had to have it on your person and then clicked on there.
Switch before you're going to spawn and then you can just switch it.
Oh,
it's
well,
fine.
You learn something new every day. Well... We got a buff banner out from KN. That is learning something new. I don't think teams have really dabbled into banners too much. Wait, the regular buff banner is...
Oh, we do have a man threats on Ryan here. So he can just jump over the... Oh, he did the high jump here. But he lands on top of the medic.
Corndog didn't see it coming. If there was another soldier, the possibility could have maybe happened there.
Yeah, it's actually crazy. If Madness had been in there, that would have been a drop.
Yeah,
100%.
Usually... If one person is going man-tread, you like to kind of throw another soldier in there just for the value of it. I mean, that man-tread soldier's already tanking the sentry gun. Why not get you through with the meat shield?
Yeah, like actually, if he had landed perfectly on top of his head, he would have done stomp damage. That would have actually dropped it.
That would have been pretty funny.
If you do that in a final, you just win, right?
That item really needs to do more damage than it actually does, because it's pretty hard to do that, I would say.
Yeah. Kane is actually on a buff banner, unless I don't know how far built it is. Underscore, can you tell me how? 100%. Oh.
47% right now we're rocking, and yeah, we're just kind of chilling back. Voxy will take a bit of damage. Condog really wants to part with that overcharge. I guess with 7 seconds left, he has no aspirations of pushing out, and TLR are going to just have to make the Grandioso push, but they will get some cap time on point, kind of giving them a taste of the medicine a little bit. Shocky actually has the Pyroclast
the
just
victory
push
banner. There we go. Unable to find the picks in time. It was a pretty good shout there from the Mantreds, but not enough teamwork to really make it work. So hopefully they can take that into the next time they have a chance to do this. But
that's some time wasted here, Peter. What minute mark are you panicking over on TLR?
Well, I'm really bad at the game, so I'd panic at like minute 20.
Minute 30. Oh no!
It's like,
what's going on?
No! I messed up my rollout slightly. I'm doomed. Yeah. No, these guys are good. They're not going to do that. But we have soldiers in the skybox already, and look at this. This is actually just scout.
They're going to be on top of June, though, because Condog went down pretty early to Matt, and I think sometimes in that sort of seeing red moment over on the German side, you just do so well kind of rallying together after a medic death, and this seems to be one of these situations. Actually, Pandemic is just beating his heart just that little bit healthier. KN, last man.
Oh, what a rocket!
Coming out, the man digs deep and he finds gold, Peter.
What an actual life-saving rocket there. That's going to win them the mid. We might see Sam's actually get there in time to contest it a little bit. Yeah, we might be going in for a round 2. It depends a bit on how fast Philip can lock this down. But yeah, unbelievable rocket so far. There's a really strong fight, and this is not a good position for TLR to instigate a fight, but maybe they feel like they have to.
Nick is mad. He wants to get back in. They have captured the midpoint, so if the things trade off a little bit, you could see these respawners kick in a little bit, and I think they know that on Versace's doof. They do lose Fishkoff, but I don't see any sort of easy trade, and Voxy will get picked off as well in that sort of alley area. They're being chased here out by Zam. Zam's giving them pressure, and will lose all that pressure.
And then KN just hits another direct onto Mattis there, so he goes 2 for 1.
Rides in, and Condog is out. That's a drop, I believe. And Ubercharge on June just needs to keep herself alive. It's kind of scary for everyone. Voxy already building a sentry gun, taking matters off of Shocky's hands, designated engineer, and the sentry gun just kind of bring a slight hiccup to this Uber charge that they come back in. KN needs to stand on the point. There's no real hope as they will get around on this board. You're right, Peter. 2-0 leads. Pfft.
Who cares? All right. Yeah, and yeah, you just need to drop and you're right back in it. That was definitely all Condog dropping that. I don't think he saw him coming at all there. Ryan just perfectly hitting him on his head. Or was that Mattis? I forget. Either way, 1-2 here. TLR looking to make their comeback. They're not out of this final just yet. So we have another mid here that either Demo Man, they get out pretty much scot-free here on the mid to begin with.
Soldiers kind of passing each other, how do you do, as they will exchange to each of the sides of the map. They're not really well grounded or positioned compared to TLR. TLR just are in a place where anybody can shoot anyone, offering a bit of help and guidance, whilst over on the side of Versace's doof, they're all compartmentalized and can't really help. So, speaking of KN is behind, but we've seen this be a bit of a round sentence for Matt on the previous map. Is it going to be the case here on this Metalworks?
Not quite, because they don't have an Uber ad this time around, so they're not just going to push in immediately, right? So this is different. KN, he has time to sit around and kind of twiddle his thumbs for a little bit and get into a good position, wait for the perfect moment to get in there and jump. And they're not really looking behind. I don't think they know. Like, they're definitely not acting like they know KN is behind. Oh, this could be... Okay,
they dealt with the sentry, the anti-jump... Oh, is that a pause? What a unfortunate timing of pause.
Yeah, this one's going to be hard to metagame, but... Yeah, okay, I do think... Like, you can see Flick is looking behind, so I'm pretty... And I saw Pandemic looking through that window before as well, so I'm pretty sure they know about KN being behind. But still, you know, Kan just needs to get inside this doorway, and he's going to be very dangerous because of how enclosed everything is. So if he just finds the right moment to get in there while the scouts are occupied, then he's going to be extremely dangerous.
Quick, while we have it on the pause, identify that man's shoes. Is it the anti-air shoes or is it the air shoes? Those look like some Jordan Airs if I've seen any.
Is it the Demo Man or?
Wait, oh, I see where you go with this. But he is just rocket the gunboats. No man treads. No really pre-head time. So I'm pretty realistically saying that soldier is dead. But it does allow Zams maybe a couple of sightlines to throw out some hateful damage whilst he's high in the sky.
What about he just lands on the ground perfectly fine, just limps out of there, no problem?
What, with 118 health, huh? And a sentry
Sure.
and a soldier.
You just need to edge bug on that little
damn,
fence
even the engineer is getting involved and he's shooting at him.
Yeah, the sentry gun's just like, actually, me too.
Oh, okay, so we actually find out the nature of this this pause, and you're not going to like it, Beta. Corndog actually DCs, and, if you go on Ubercharge, do you have Scouts Honor in the game of Grand Final TF2? Do you
I
wait?
think so. I think most people would say, yeah. You absolutely just, like, if he just drops and he had even Ubers, right, and he just drops the Uber, yeah, you wait. You don't want to win that way. That's lame.
Plus, it would kind of dampen things if you finally take your ETF2L Grand Championship and then people just throw that in your face every time.
Yeah. Like, you absolutely don't want to have that happen. So, we'll see how important it was, right? Like, he might have like 30%, and it's not that impactful. It's just like any other player, basically. Still more important than anyone else, but still, we don't know the situation. So we'll just have to see what happens here.
I've just seen we've unpaused a bit, so we've let Connor back into the server, it seems. And during this unpause, I see the position of the soldier. I think you're actually right. He's actually going to come back to the ground and be all safe and sound.
Did I really convince you?
Yeah, I think you actually did. Well, at least the unpause did.
I mean, yeah. The sentry's going to miss. The heavy's going to miss. There's not going to be sticky traps on the ground. By the way,
sticky trap actually. Yeah.
Yeah, but by the way, you can see one sticky up on the roof there to the left of the exit. That's how much Philip missed the sticky.
Oh my!
How did that sticky?
No. I think I can cover him here. I think it was actually Ryan shot out the stickies from the lamp, and the stickies just land where they land. Although I didn't know, unless they're still in the midst of falling, I thought once you knock a sticky off a wall, it just kind of falls to the ground. I didn't think it relatches onto a wall.
I don't think it relatched. I think it just landed on the flat ground, I think it's
but what about the stickies on the right-hand side? Do you see it on the wall? Oh, I guess those are some other stickies. Never mind.
Yeah, I think Philip placed those after. Yeah.
I'm going conspirative here in the pause. This is what happens if I don't have TF2 stimulating my brain at all times.
Yeah, we need everything we can do to just keep a little overactive mind stimulated.
I'm pretty sure TF2 is just the government's way of keeping my mind suppressed and just out of control, out of trouble.
That makes so much sense. Like, when I see what the British government is doing, I'm pretty convinced. Yeah, that sounds like something they do. That makes perfect sense to me. Kondak might have fallen asleep. He's still not in the game.
I think he just booted up Dota 2. He's just bored.
He dropped Uber IRL.
I mean, I had a little peek in the scrims just a little bit earlier, Beta. A few of the players over on Verdas stuff, they weren't scrimming for 10 days before the final. They kind of just rocked up, solo TF2, maybe played some DM or whatever, and then they're just coming out with this performance.
This is the Epsilon way. You just don't practice for a whole bunch of time, and then you just cram right before the big test, and you just ace it, right?
I mean, they didn't even cram before the test. They just kind of turned up to the test.
Yeah. Why not? Yeah. They're not stressed. They're not burdened by their own expectations due to a lot of effort thrown in.
Yeah, I bet they were actually bummed out that they've won all their games. Like, oh man, we have to keep playing this game. Well, at least we don't have to do the best of 5, right?
I mean, just the fact that they knocked out 4 Fence. So they made the Frenchies choke in playoffs again, which is super funny. And then they made Mandem bow out in third after winning the main regular season again. That's super funny.
And now they're bringing TLR to the knees. So they're just the Grim Reaper knocking at every door.
Yeah, came in from the lower bracket finals. Just going to win anyway. Who cares? Just absolutely, it just trolls. Like, it doesn't get any better.
All right, B. So in all this deep philosophical thought of pausing, I'm going to bring up some more heavy subject matter. So this is obviously the season without Witness. I'm going to talk about it. I'm not going to pretend it's not there. Does this discount the season a little bit, or do you think that this is a sort of team calibers that would give Witness a good showing, or what do you think?
I mean, we saw 4Fence give Witness a pretty damn good final last season.
Oh yeah, and they came 4th this time, so ipso facto.
So like, no, I never think that you can discount a season just because the best team take a break, because like you can't just say, oh, Witness deserved to win it even though they didn't play. If you don't play, you don't deserve anything, right? You don't get anything for free. So you never discount it. And also, when you have this close of a season, it's just been a bloodbath. When you look at the worst team of the season, that's 3.5 stars. That's a crazy good worst team.
Really, times have changed since it used to be. Very much so. It used to always be just like kind of a top 4 pedigree, maybe even top 2 pedigree, and then the rest are just fighting the scraps. But yeah, this has been a really entertaining season, and truly, I don't think it could have ended a better way, more symbolic than having the top 2 teams seeded, predicted anyways, kind of knocked out early on, making way for these newer teams.
Yeah, and it's just been something that when you look at the teams this season, I've been changing my mind on who was going to win throughout the entire season, right? Because I was like, oh, Mandem's probably going to win. Then I was like, oh, no, maybe the Germans going to win. Actually, 4Fence looked really strong. You know what? TLR is actually coming after quite a bit. And then actually the AMS team, Havoc, they're actually playing really well tonight. You know, you can never discount AMS. You never know. So I haven't known anything the entire season.
Yeah, and I think, okay, so if I'm being fed the incorrect information, Beta, it means that Corndog can't make it into the server. Something's gone wrong in some, maybe a PC was on fire or something. He can't come back in. They have to use a Merc. And that Merc is the one they used, I believe, yesterday, which was Gigi, or, Joe, or, Joe or GGG or whoever, however you see him as.
Yeah. See, this is the thing. So we have Garbage, aka GGGGG, aka Joe, aka Gigi. He just keeps changing name, but it's the same guy, and he's been playing Medic. Yeah. So I don't blame our producer who's from America for not knowing that obscure lore about a guy who just can't pick a name.
But on the bright side, though, he did play yesterday and he did play with his team, so it's not going to feel completely stranger to Verdastis Doof playing with this guy now instead of Corndog, who I mean, it's got to break the heart a little bit for the team. They obviously had a run going, and for Corndog to jump out now might put a sour note on things, but sometimes computers be that way, Beta.
Yeah, like either it's going to suck for Corndog because he couldn't be there at the very end to help them win it, or it's going to suck for everyone because Corndog dropped and then that's how they lost. That's going to feel really bad. Yeah, so either way, there's going to be some annoyance here. Okay, Soldier didn't make it out alive. What a shock. As they're going to retreat. I think they're going to take the mind on to KN, and KN does his best.
Yeah, you can see Corndog. He is warping out of his mind, man. Oh. So, yeah, I think and they might push during all of this as well. So if we just get some unfortunate warp, that's more calling into question, like, what do you give away or not?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, my Lord. Okay.
Yeah, they're in. And he's just popped off early. He does use the Uber charge during all this, so it's not the worst thing in the world. But he can't push. Look at this man. He's playing from a different plane right now.
Yeah, he's just dimension hopping at this point. That's crazy looking.
Yeah, look, you can see his team are posturing, and he's talking to them like, "We can't push. And my internet's really bad right now." So this is probably getting to the time where he's gonna maybe pause just to kind of get that internet stable. Maybe try and like rejoin.
His mom's unplugged the internet. It's time to go to sleep.
Somebody's watching too many Netflix shows. Mom, stop downloading Pride and Prejudice.
Yeah, Voxtech, he can't protect the center gun at all. The Uber hasn't done too much, but oh my god, Philip done so much. This is actually looking really strong push here. As, yeah, everyone's just getting taken down. That was a really nice push. Obviously, they got that little boost there from Connor doing that, and is Conduct going to come back to begin this mid?
Yeah, I do see. It looks like this is where the pause happened, and he rejoins in. I see Corndog's name at least.
Yeah, I think usually when this happens, you actually see the wrong name.
Oh no, it switched. It switched to GG. It's just the HUD is bugged. Okay.
Yeah. Like my HUD still says Conduct, but I'll deal with it. I've seen this before. But when people rejoin mid-match like this, it'll fix itself. But yeah, it is Garbage Joe who is in here. And they're gonna play it very passively here in Valley, and Shockey's gonna be the first place to go down, and then Philip immediately following here. Ooh, what a shot there from Ryan as well. Takes down Philip and then gets a nice air shot, and they're just in full retreat now on the Germans.
Oh, they even lose Fishkoff at their second point. They do have their medic still alive, and they do have an Uber charge, but being pushed back onto last with a 2-2 scoreline, 6 minutes left is not what you were hoping for. They're trying to build a sentry gun already, but Zams has a sight line. They're pushing in pretty quickly to say they haven't even captured the second point, and they have to deal with Voxy on this heavy weapons guy. They will clean up the sentry gun again. Shockey just goes back to building it again. It's like it never happened, he says, as they do lose out K and does trade for Pandemic, however, but this might still be too juicy for TLR to pass, as they haven't got their defenses set up like they would hope.
Yeah, it's always kind of unfortunate when you lose someone and then you want to get in there and spam down the sentry before it can get set up properly, but you don't really have the manpower to do it absolutely well, so you just end up not doing it, and you just have to just live with the fact that Shockey's going to have a full sentry there. As Fiskoff's actually going to get jumped here on the side. Ryan jumps in very aggressively, knocks him off his little perch, and slams down the sentry gun out of this
Flicks
position.
in, by the way. Like, he does finally get cleaned up now. They throw Ryan on top of the point, maybe to get some cheeky cap time. Matt tries to join back into the fight, does back out instead, as they lost Flick and Ryan maybe a bit too quickly than they had hoped. But during all of this, Foxy rocking that spy class, so this should be quite shocking.
Has he actually left spawn? He has. Okay, he's actually got eyes on June already. Oh, Pandemic.
Damn, they are checking, yeah.
Yeah, he's just actually shooting corners right now.
Yeah, and they're trying to push at the same time to kind of give them a bit of paranoia. And maybe just some loud noises for this mantle and cloak. Oh my god, the rocket hit him, but I don't think they saw him shimmer there. And he's just crawling about. He doesn't even want footsteps to be heard. It uncloaks finally now. June is checking her back a lot, and they will call out that spy, and that's basically a scout gone out of the mix for this last point. Bit scary if it wasn't for Flick and Ryan going down.
Yeah, it looks like they're actually wanting to go in here as well. Maybe this is just to make sure there's not going to be a sentry gun going up, because Shockey's already on heavy, so he can't build anything if he can't switch off of heavy here. So I think that was just what that was. Just peeking in, making sure that nothing sneaky is going on here. But they're going to have to reset again. They have 2.5 minutes to make a play and get an Uber force out. Maybe so far they really hated Fishkoff, but Philip, he set up a sticky trap on the left side this time around. Helped out Fishkoff. Fishkoff was basically just a bait there. He's been jumped so many times now.
Yeah, they really do like getting in Flick and Ryan early on that flank on last, it seems, and maybe even going for the point pressure play as well, but it's not really been working out, but they will shut it down in this sort of early read. It's got to suck if you're over on the side of Dasti's stuff. I know, obviously, Joe is a very capable medic and proved it yesterday with this very same team, but it's got to put a hairline fracture to have a pause like that and just deal with all this nonsense and take the momentum out a little bit. But let's see if they can kind of pick up pace as we're going in for another sort of push. TLR and GG goes down.
Everyone else died.
But everybody else died as well, though. So this is very fortunate.
It's just going to be, can Ryan go for this back cap? He's in position. He's going to jump in. Oh,
they've seen him.
Okay.
They're actually coming. They're sending so many players back to deal with him, however, and no real people on second point. I mean, it's not like you'll see TLR. Actually, they're coming back pretty quickly to get and defend this second point, but the rocket spam is enough to dissuade them. And the second point has been claimed back by Birdastis' doof. 2 versus 2. 2 minutes left. It's looking like a repeat of their weak game, Beater.
Yeah, it is. I mean, they've got some more rounds out of it. Is this going to be another 2-3 game? That would be crazy if every single map is just 2-3. Like it doesn't get any closer than this here. They're holding mid now. June has the tiniest of tiny Uber advantages, not something you can actually push off of. And they're just getting set up here, waiting for the Ubers, and then perhaps waiting for TLR to go in for some sort of play, and then maybe getting a counterplay in themselves. I think that's the plan right now for Verdas Liest Doof, whereas TLR, I think they're going to send in Ryan again. Come on, Ryan. Your KD isn't bad enough already. Do it. There we go. He comes.
All right, he jumps into the bunker. The medic goes, and
he's out of there.
I like it. I like how he's just kind of planning, or at least like fishing to see what sort of reaction they have. It's almost like you get a preview with how they like to do things. He's back on the medic and he's jumping again, and again sees that medic straight in the bunker. Actually commits this time, does go down. Philip very much too far out from the rest of his team. Flick is right on top of the medic. He misses his shots, however. He's not getting any of them onto GG. Will finally pop off the Ubercharge now. The Ubercharge force, but they've lost the scout during all this mix. They throw their own Ubercharge in now for TLR, but they can't seem to find anybody. They've rotated all the way back and out. They're on second point. KN is behind during all this. I need to remind you, though. He's coming back in. Doesn't quite find any rockets at all. Fishkoff has come back into the fight as well. Voxy's overextended as well. He's going to go down. Shockey's building a sentry gun at last. Has to rotate back out. He's coming back as Pyro. We're really desperate on this last point. 35 seconds left. Shockey is on the point. Phillips on the point. No longer. They've capped out their round.
Oh, they've done it.
Won it. It's a TLR season.
Unbelievable. That was that couldn't be any closer. At the very end, every single map, 3-2. Oh man, it kind of breaks my heart a little bit that we had the whole Condor drop kind of thing going on. That really sucks. But yeah, can't really fault TLR that they didn't do anything bad. And hey, they won it out. Nice counter push. Doesn't let them push out. And there we go. Fishkoff still not an ETF2L champ, despite my dreams coming true. And Flick, I can't wait to not talk to him to LAN. Holy hell.
He's going to be coming into LAN and beaming with pride, and he should be prideful. All of them should be prideful over on TLR. They have done it, and it was not like Condog wasn't there for the first couple of maps as well, so it's not like the X factor for the team, and Joe is obviously not the worst merc in the world, so I think it was just to lay it down thick, that last moment where they wanted to fight for second point, it was just the wrong decision. They just went in with a fight, hoping that KN could make a lot of work, and they just started save your friend syndrome, dying one by one. And then, yeah, it'd be a TLR victory.
Yeah, big up TLR. Nobody really thought they were going to win this season, but they pulled it out. What a turnaround. Pandemic. I think he came over from Australia, plays out of Turkey now. It's not like he was the top scout in Australia or anything, but hey, he's now an ETF2L champion. That's pretty crazy.
I wonder if the Australians now are going to use that as a conversion rate. It's like, well, this guy only did this well, and he's a ETF2L champion. The Australians must be just completely playing in a different level.
Yeah. I will say, I think people underestimate Australians, but no, I don't think we can say that like Australians are better. But yeah, people do underestimate Australians. They're very good. And pandemic is ample proof of that. So huge,
Oh,
huge congratulations to TLR. Well
yeah.
fought season. Nobody got that easy.
But commiserations, and obviously a really well performance put in by Verdas liest doof. They've caused many a upset, and they obviously took it down to the absolute wire. And all the ifs and maybes aside, it is still a strong sort of entire show put on by both of these teams. So it was a treat and a privilege to watch that.
Absolutely, and that's going to be that season. Well, at least for Prem, we still have some lower division playoffs to go. We have Div 1, we have Div 2. Who knows? Maybe we're going to catch some open finals as well. I always enjoy the low divisions as well. Those usually happen a little bit later than Prem. And then, of course, there's also the Poland land qualifiers going on these days. I haven't been able to really follow them too much because of just spending all day casting. But that's actually been happening as well at the same time as this. So definitely keep an eye out for that. And when you find out who's actually showing up to the Poland land, you'll be amazed. There's so many good teams, so many good players.
So good, an absolute treat of a land. Anyways, if you want to find any more details or any sort of information about the current 6v6 competitive scene, you can always find something over on teamfortress.tv. Otherwise, I've been Turbotabs. With me has been Beta. Beta, any last little tiny shout-outs, maybe even a plug to your season demo call?
Yeah, I actually have a news. Actually, AMS is making the season video, so it's actually going to be really good this season.
Come now.
Yeah. But definitely shout out to all the Prem teams. Still, I have a demo call, and also, can you please upload the demos to Demos.tv? Thank you, so I can actually find them, because who knows? Maybe you hit like a crazy double air shot, and I can't put it in there because the demo isn't something I can find.
All right, I'll do a final shout out to Twitch chat, obviously, for everybody tuning in and watching the games. You're very much the reason why we do this as well. A big shout out to all of our staff at teamfortress.tv, not just Beat on my co-cast, not just Dr. Underscore on my production, and obviously the biggest shout out to our TLR champions, Zams on Demoman, Ryan and Matt on Soldiers, Pandemic and Flick on Scout, and June on Medic. Congratulations, and we hope to see more of you in the future to come. Otherwise, we'll see you guys later on.